You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network. Tonight's game broadcast will begin in a moment. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mud Audio Network. Tonight's game broadcast will begin in a moment.
But for those of you who might have missed the game, that's okay. Let's tell you how it all went down. Like I mentioned, Mudbugs won that contest 3-1. Goals coming from Johnny Burnt and Willie Tremblay from the Mudbugs in the second period. And then in the third period, Leo Isaacson with the goal to get the Brahmas deficit down to 1. But at 1:52 in the third period, Remy Pusateri put the proverbial Louders Baking Company icing on the cake. Speaking of Louders Baking Company, Mudbugs Hockey Tonight is brought to you by our friends at Louders Baking Company, the newest corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. So, like I mentioned, that final score was 3-1. Lots of penalties in this contest, a lot of fighting and roughhousing between these two teams, but it wouldn't be a Mudbugs Brahmas rivalry without it. And speaking of this contest, we have some roster news coming late here. Number 2, Mitchell Reed will be out of tonight's contest, as well as number 77, Jackson Vates for the Brahmas. Reed, actually, that suspension was after behind the scenes that actually resulted in a scrum that sent Ty Easton off last night. But like I mentioned, the details were ironed out there and led to the one-game suspension of Mitchell Reed. And, of course, for Jackson Vates, I wouldn't quite call it a suspension per se, at least not that I've seen. I didn't see any sight of him in warm-ups, but that's just where I'm coming from. So, last night, both coaches, Soupy and Smitty, Jason Soupy Cable, of course, and Brett Smith, said that this team had great effort from a lot of points, including penalty kill, that Mudbugs were on a lot of it last night. 42 combined penalty minutes for the Mudbugs in that game and 27 for the Brahmas. Mudbugs were able to kill off at least most of these penalties, if not all of them, in the like I mentioned, the special teams unit for the Mudbugs. One of the stronger points in penalty kill unit reflects such as that. And of course, late in that contest, or excuse me, the goaltending effort in that contest was nothing short of amazing. Let's just put it like that. Tyler Hodges stopping 29 of 30 And then for the Brahmas, it was a split between Brady Cray, who stopped 20 of 22 shots, and then was actually pulled at the end of the second period. I didn't see it, and neither did Lone Star Brahmas broadcaster Chad Seward. He was actually shocked by that as well. Nicholas Rimple would come in for Brady Cray and stop 3 of 3 shots. So that is all from last night. Of course, coming up next here on the Landers Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram and a Fiat pregame show, my conversation with Jason Subi Campbell. That'll be coming up next. After these messages and more, you're listening to the Landers Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram and a Fiat pregame show. And as always, you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Hey, this is Chet Yoder, voice of the Mudbugs. DeFada and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional private investigations for over 20 years. They offer a full range of services to both individuals and businesses. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or you suspect an internal theft problem with your business, DeFada and Associates has the experience, training, and knowledge to get you the information you need. Call Jerry today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case or visit them online at defadapi.com. As a business owner, you know it's important to stay ahead of your competition to succeed. One dishonest employee providing poor customer service can send DeFada and Associates has over 20 years of investigative experience that can help you monitor your employees and investigate losses that may be keeping you from reaching your goals. Whether you need GPS tracking, investigative shopping, integrity testing, or you're experiencing losses caused by theft, DeFada and Associates can help. Give them a call at 318-635-9944 or check out their website at defadapi.com for more information.
Welcome back into the Landers Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram and a Fiat pregame show. Now joining me is Mudbugs head coach Jason Subi Campbell. Subi, welcome in.
Thank you for having me, Duncan.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's kind of a debate who I would take to interview tonight between Brett Smith and you. And, well, my initial gut was to go with Brett Smith, but then I remembered something. The last time I interviewed you on a combo weekend like this, we ended up winning. That was against Odessa, but obviously a lot has passed since then. Of course, we're going to move on to last night's effort, a 3-1 win over the Lone Star Brahmas. First goal coming from Johnny Burnt, second from Willie Tremblay. Well, I don't want to get a big head of myself, but you check social medias. And, of course, it's our goal coming from Remy Pusateri on an empty net goal, his first of the year, actually. So what was the word going into the locker room after last night's win of this Lone Star team and of the effort?
Just that's what it was. It was a good effort. You know, it was a big win for us. But in the end, it's one win out of the season that we needed at that time. And today's just a new day, and we need another win. But we just need a good effort again. We need to put in the right effort that gives us the best opportunity to win, and then we'll go from there.
Absolutely. You mentioned it was a really good effort, and I have to echo that sentiment. I actually echoed the sentiment all night on the broadcast last night. Probably one of the better efforts from this Mudbugs team. And speaking of effort, Tyler Hodges stopping all but one was able to get past him. What was the word on Hodges' performance last night between you and Smitty?
I just thought he looked confident right from the get-go. You know, he was eating pucks. Anything that was coming at him, he was just handling them with poise and confidence and not bobbling anything. So he just looked confident right from the get-go, and really that kind of bleeds out into the rest of the group when they see that.
All right. So it seems to be the message from last night is confidence, but as well as keeping that same performance coming into tonight.
Consistency.
Yep, consistency as well as intensity. That seems to be the theme that needs to be repeated out through this season. So, of course, you mentioned it is a new day. And the Brahmas actually changed their goaltender at the end of the second period. I didn't see that initially. But let's say, how's the scouting been on those two Brahmas goaltenders, both Cray as well as Rempel?
Well, they're both good goaltenders. Rempel's taken most of the games so far, but so there wasn't a whole lot on Cray, but bigger goalies that move well, pretty athletic, and solid. You know, they can make big saves, they can scramble well, so they again do a lot of things good. So you really have to do your part to try to get traffic so they can't see pucks coming through or passes. You know, you have to attack the crease and hopefully generate second, third chance goals. And a lot of times they're not going to let that first shot go by them.
Of course. And so some of the keys when I talked to you earlier in the week was winning the special teams battle. The penalty kill did, I think, just that, at least throughout, if not most of the night, then a good portion of the night. Of course, I also talked to Brett Smith last night about that special teams effort, the penalty kill effort. It's been one of the stronger suits of this year. Firstly, I just want to ask, would you agree with that sentiment that it's been the strongest suit of the Mudbug special team unit?
Yeah, last night was by far our best effort. You know, we've been doing okay throughout the year, but we seem to be giving up like a goal a game or something like that. And we've been penalized a lot, so they've been doing a decent job. But yesterday was by far our best effort. And again, we're going to have to up our game because they're going to make some adjustments. So we just have to be ready in real time to handle those like pros and do another great job.
Speaking of penalties, of course, Mitchell Reed will miss tonight. What's the plan going forward to at least kind of get somebody into his position to?
Well, we, Gordon Guerrero's going to be going tonight, so we'll still have 7D going tonight. We had 7 go last night, and with Reeder out, we decided to go with 7D, so we added Gordo to the lineup, and he's been out for the last few games, so I know he's chomping at the bit to get his opportunity again. But he's been working hard. He's been practicing great. Been a great team guy off the ice. So an opportunity opened up, and we expect him to take full advantage of that.
Absolutely. I think he will take advantage of that. And it's like you mentioned, he is chomping at the bits, but he's also a good locker room guy and a good off-the-ice guy. You can see it in a lot of the things he does. Now, another key that you mentioned to me was finding ways to score and create offense. But on top of that, it seems like we played crash net hockey all night, and we kind of threw the Brahmas' style of offense back in their face almost. At least from my vantage point, is that thing obviously something we won't, kind of a basic question, but is that something we want to continue to?
Eliminating your opportunities to get to the net and get shots to the net. So anytime you can do that, shots cause chaos in my opinion. So if you're able to get pucks through and find ways to get a step on them going towards their net, then it's going to cause a little more chaos than normal. And we did a fairly decent job of that last night. I still think we can get much better at it. So that is a challenge that you face every time you play these guys, and we got to be excited about that challenge.
Of course. And finally, one of the big things was bringing pucks out on the transition efficiently. From at least my vantage point of things, I think we did it fairly well. What was your thoughts on being able to get those pucks out into the transition and make it an effective effort?
I thought for the most part better than we have most of the year, but a big part of that is making sure you're getting back in support, you're knowing your situation, making reads before you even get to the puck, and communicating. So they're going to come hard again tonight. So we've got to, again, we were good last night, but we got to be much better and much more efficient with it if we want to repeat, even get close to repeating what we did last night.
Absolutely. All right, Coach Soup, I'm going to ask you one last thing. I'm going to let you get going here. So it is the post-Thanksgiving season. Black Friday is gone through the ranks. Cyber Monday's approaching, actually. I was about to say, and of course, with that comes the Christmas holiday season. I really wanted to save this question kind of towards December, and you might be asked again about it by Chet Yoder, but I'm going to ask you right off the bat, what are some of the Christmas traditions in the Campbell household?
We go to Jonesboro on Christmas Eve and spend Christmas with my in-laws over there, and it's something we've done for as long as I've been here, so we'll do that, and then we'll make the trip home, and we'll get home early morning on Christmas Day, and it sounds like all my kids will be back since we're empty nesters for the most part. All the kids will be back at least for a little while Christmas morning, and we'll have a cup of coffee and open up gifts together, and then we'll actually have the day off on Christmas Day, Duncan, so you'll be happy to know that. And even though we got a game on the 26th, but I'm not going to make the guys go to the rink on Christmas Day.
No. But, well, of course, you ask Billy T. Welker, he's had some experiences with that, but of course you can find that out from him whenever I get around to interviewing, the father and son interview, that'll come at some point. All right, well, Coach Soupy, always good to talk to you, and of course, good luck tonight against these Brahmas. And thank you once again for coming on.
Thank you, Duncan Walker.
Yep. You're listening to the Landers, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Fiat pregame show. And as always, you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs hockey here on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Coming right back into it. Welcome back into the MyTech Sports Center here in North Richland Hills. And now it's time for the Whataburger starting lineup, brought to you by our friends at Whataburger, just like you like it. First for these Lone Star Brahmas. At the left wing, number 89, Anthony Capello. At center, number 15, Vladimir Sable. And at the right wing, number 7, Tyson Scanlon. Public address announcer going over their lineups. At the left defense from Dearborn, Michigan, number 5, Eric Alexander. And at the right defense, number 8, Ryan Coots. And getting the start in net tonight is number 32, Nicholas Rempel. Brahmas are head coach by Dan Wildfong. Assistant coach is Logan Murphy, and equipment manager is William Klein. Now time for the Whataburger starting lineup for your Shreveport Mudbugs. Going to be a quick one here, folks. From Manhattan Beach, California, number 12, Duke Earhart on the left wing. At center, number 15, Jonah Jasser. And on the right wing, number 36, Joseph Salango. At defense, number 6, Remy Pusateri. And on the right defense, number 17 from Guild Hungary, Nandor Poloni. And getting the start in net tonight, number 31, Tyler Hodges. National anthem time here. Excellent rendition of the national anthem here in Lone Star at the NYTech Sports Center. I'm going to go over this Mudbug starting lineup one more time. Brought to you by our friends at Whataburger. Whataburger, just like you like it. At the left wing from Manhattan Beach, California, number 12, Duke Earhart. Taking the faceoff in at center, number 15 from Woodlands, Texas, Jonah Jasser. At the right wing from Havertown, Pennsylvania, number 36, Joe Sabanko. At defense now for the Mudbugs from Denver, Colorado, number 6, Remy Pusateri. And at defense as well from Good Hungary, number 17, Nandor Poloni. And getting the start in net tonight for your Shreveport Mudbugs. In between the pipes, number 31, the Gormley, Ontario native, and the Dartmouth commit, number 31, Tyler Hodges. Hodges had a great game last night. Mudbugs are head coach, of course, by who else? Jason Soupy Campbell. Assistant coach is Brett Smith. Honorary assistant coach is Chris Lane. Willis Knight athletic trainer is Hunter Robinson. And, of course, head equipment manager, who else? Billy T. Welker. Mudbugs are in their black uniforms tonight with the red striping on the arms, left and right arms, as well as the striping on the bottom. Call it Redded Out Mudbug, the Mudbug primary logo in red. All in red. Of course, black helmets with the Mudbug word mark going across it. Brahmas are in their Air Force jerseys as part of their month-long Military Appreciation Month celebration. Both teams now up to their feet. Jasser will take the face-off. Puck drop underway right now. Mudbugs win the face-off, and Remy Pusateri will take it. Leave it off for Nandor Poloni. Poloni over to Samango. Samango tries to find it up to Jasser. It's poke checked away by the Brahmas. Of course, it'll be turned right back over to Nandor Poloni. Poloni loses an edge. Brahmas able to take it back and just try to dump it in, but it was deflected in front. But Brahmas now have it. Scanlon tried to shoot, and it was in between Remy Pusateri deflect off him and blocked. Puck will go down the length of the ice, and it will be called icing. 1934 here in this contest. Thank you for tuning in to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey tonight. Thank you for listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey as well, wherever you are in the Arklatex area or in various parts of the United States and Canada, as well as various parts of Europe, wherever you may be. Thank you for tuning in to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Now face-off will come out to the right, the right of Tyler Hodges here. Brahmas able to take the face-off after some contact from Jonah Jasser with the stick. Now Brahmas now in the right-hand corner here. Go back up to, that'll be their defense. And Damphus now will take it back out and dump it right back in. Tyler Hodges will leave it off for, looks like Joe Samango behind his own net. Samango now finds Pusateri up on this left-hand board here. Mudbugs will be skating from left to right. Brahmas almost taking it back, and they do. Capano will find Isaacson. That's Leo Isaacson, the Brahmas leading point scorer. Isaacson will just throw it away. And no, actually, he's going to try to find one of his defensemen. I believe that is number 5, Eric Alexander. Now Brahmas will take it back in. Capano tried to get a stick on it, nothing doing. Roberts now. And now goes back behind the net of number 32, Nicholas Rempel, who came in late last night. Bugs right in front. Roberts, he scores! Jeremiah Roberts, an excellent goal from Jeremiah Roberts right in front of Nicholas Rempel. Puts the Bugs up here early with 18:43 left in the first. An excellent goal from Jeremiah Roberts, who, mind you, during camp had to leave Mudbugs camp after a injury, but after a while comes back into the fold, and he makes an impact early here in the first period. Mudbugs up 1. Of course, the assist will come from number 23, Evan Hoagland as well. We'll get the other assist on that. Excellent shot from Jeremiah Roberts. Now Brahmas into the Bug zone now. That'll be number 55. That'll be not listed on my sheet. Okay, interesting. Excuse me, that's Dylan McFadden. Puck got swallowed up by Tyler Hodges. I'll be honest, when I call games, I go off of both. Oh, YouTube has no volume, apparently, I'm finding out. Okay. So the goal coming from Jeremiah Roberts, coming from Evan Hoagland, and number 7, Grayson Gerhard, making an impact in coming to the Mudbugs. Grayson Gerhard will be the subject of my interview. Bugs able now to take the faceoff back, and Jared Griner checked on there by Telacro. That is Maddox Telacro. Brahmas now going to take it behind their net. Evan Adams will take it back in and just blam it into the Brahmas zone. Really tries to come up with it, nothing doing. And looks like Jared Griner is getting some contact on by Telacro. Brahmas now trying to regain control in their own zone. Tremblay going to hold it in. Tremblay shot, and it just went off. Vinny DiUlio tried with the rebound, and he gets bodied on there. And it'll be a penalty coming up against the Lone Star Brahmas. Head referee Bork calling that penalty. And the gates will open for number 72, Maddox Telacro. It'll be 2 minutes for, looks like, high sticking. Or a high stick. Of course, we'll get that call here shortly. Hopefully everything's fixed on the YouTube side of things. Hopefully. Of course, if you're just joining us on YouTube or NATV, Mudbugs up 1-0, and the Mudbugs will be going on the Scott Powerline power play. Mudbugs able to control the faceoff. Stock shot just goes into the left-hand corner and wide. Now, Johnny Burnt went goal on the night last night. Roberts now tried to fight Hoagland. It got bounced off a stick, but found a way through. Nothing doing now. Burnt now going to try to move it around, and he does. Hoagland over to Stock. Nothing doing there, and Damphus now try to come back up away with it. Getting some contact on there from Evan Hoagland. Now over here in the right-hand corner, Bugs and Brahmas going through. Puck now scatters out to the left corner. Be on the right-hand side of Nicholas Rempel. Johnny Burnt will try to keep it in the zone for the Mudbugs, and he does. Hoagland now over to Earhart. Earhart finds Stock down low on the right. He gets some contact. Roberts now. Roberts with the lone goal so far, 60-59. Minute 10 left in the penalty to Maddox Telacro. Roberts now will Backhand it to Johnny Burnt. And now Brahmas come back up away with it. That's number 28. That's Pryor. Pryor, shot, and it just goes off the post. The shot from Camden Pryor went off the post of Tyler Hodges. And if you're watching on NATV, Tyler Hodges just patted the top left of his net. And you got to admit that relationship between the goalie and his net, very appreciated. Now Mudbugs try to dump it in behind Nicholas Rempel. Rempel will take it back, and it'll be dumped down the length of the ice. 35 seconds left in the Telacro penalty. 16:20 left in this contest. Mudbugs up 1-0. Now it'll be Evan Adams. He'll try to take it, but we'll leave it off back for Grayson Gerhard. Gerhard now over to Tremblay. Tremblay to Samango. And it'll be caught off signs. It looked like Tremblay had actually gotten pushed into the, Willie actually went down. I couldn't quite tell if that was due to pushing and shoving or if he just fell on his own, but he's up. He's good. He's taken some contact so far this year, and a lot of it, but he's okay. Tonight's first period is brought to you by our friends at Advanced Air Conditioning and Heating, offering installations, repairs, maintenance, and homes and businesses in the area. Log on to Advanced AC. That's advancedac.com. Puck will go around the net of Nicholas Rempel. Grayson Gerhard comes up with it. We'll get with him in the North Carolina Express Loop first intermission as part of the conversation. It was distilled last night, but able to get in front of things, hopefully. Tremblay tries to find somebody in front, nothing doing. Penalties getting ready to expire. Mudbugs not able to come up on the Scott power line. Power play. Gerhard tried to shoot it, nothing doing. Now Brahmas going to try to come back away with it. Brahmas down his own. That's Camden Pryor. Pryor tried to stick handle the puck, get on out. Mudbugs will come back up with it. That is Evan Adams. And now puck will go down the length of the ice, and it will be icing. It'll be icing. 15:21 left in this contest. Like I mentioned, this first period of Mudbugs hockey is brought to you by our friends at Advanced Air Conditioning and Heating. They offer installations, repairs, and maintenance for homes and businesses in the area. Log on to advancedac.com. That's advancedac.com. Thank you to Advanced AC for sponsoring tonight's Shreveport Mudbugs hockey broadcast, as well as being a loyal corporate partner of the Shreveport Mudbugs. Faceoff will come out to the left of Tyler Hodges. Of course, if you can hear the faint cowbells, it is Texas. I expect nothing less. But we move on now. Faceoff will go to the advantage of the Brahmas. Some big hit. And a penalty will be called on the Mudbugs. Looks like it'll go to... It looks like, some pushing and shoving there from Grayson Gerhard onto Leo Isaacson. Now Gerhard getting in the face, and of course that penalty actually looks like it'll be going to Grayson Gerhard. Grayson Gerhard actually had the assist on the goal. We'll find out interference is the call. I'm going to double check that real quick because I want to be as accurate as I can be. It's the beauty of broadcast. Sometimes you get things wrong, and sometimes you get things right. Kind of obvious to say, but we're going to find out. I'm going to quit yapping for a little bit and find out that call exactly. But nonetheless, Mudbugs will go on the first choice personnel penalty kill. Penalty kill being one of the strongest suits of this Mudbugs team so far this season. Of course, we will find the penalty full call once here in a minute. Grayson Gerhard, yes, I was correct. 2 minutes for interfering, and the Telacro penalty was high sticking. So, either way, I was right. Puck down the length of the ice. Mudbugs able to just clear it out of the zone. And now the Brahmas will take it behind their own net. That'll be number 4. It'll be Alexander Oliver. They'll leave it off for Capello. That's Anthony Capello. Martikainen, Capello with it. And it got blocked on the way through. Mudbugs able to have a good defensive play. There's Jared Greiner. Greiner getting battled on with Capello, but nonetheless, Owen Case takes it. He goes left. He goes right. He tried to get it on, but Martikainen, nothing doing. Some contact in front now. Brahmas have numbers. They're coming the other way. That's Anthony Capello. Capello, and his pass got blocked on the way through by Vinny DiUlio. Great stuff there from the Chicagoland native. Martikainen now will take it behind his net. Martikainen will hold it. It looks like he'll try to take it himself, actually, up through the neutral zone, but I was wrong. He'll leave it off. Leave it off for his teammate. That's Lexel. That is Gustav Lexel. Johnny Burnt tried to slap it out of the zone. Nothing doing. Capello came up with it, but Johnny Burnt's able to actually come up with it. And now Vinny DiUlio will battle on with Capello, excuse me. Actually, that is Capano. I keep getting Capano and Capello confused. But nonetheless, Brahmas now into the bug zone. Coots now with it. Hits off the side of the cage. And it'll just winter out of the Mudbugs. Out of the Mudbug zone. Isaacson now. Hold it. He'll just blam it on in. It'll go around the boards. Down here on the half wall. Evan Adams will try to take it. Liam Wolf-Talby getting a stick on it. Nothing doing out of the zone. And doing clearing attempt-wise. Isaacson now here on the left half wall. Isaacson will find Coots. Coots now back for Isaacson. Isaacson, Capano. Lex will try to find something. Nothing doing. Good defensive work there by the Bugs to kill this penalty from Isaacson. Went wide. Fresh out of the box. Grayson Gerhard. Mudbugs coming up fast. Trying to beat up the Brahmas on a line change. Gerhard tried to find some mango, and he does. And it's in. It just trickled in. Johnny Burnt getting the credit. We'll have to find out the exact Grayson Gerhard fresh out of the penalty box. What a way to make an impact if you're Grayson Gerhard there coming out of the box. 2-0 Mudbugs, 13:02 left in this contest. Shots on goal are even right now at least. Face-off now back out one by the Brahmas. That'll be number 10 for Dan Poos. Getting it into the Mudbug zone for the Brahmas. Talacra will take it back. Hodges will come out of his net and leave it off for Remy Pusateri. He had his first goal of the year last night. Now Joe Jasser will find Joe Samango. Samango now going to dump it into the left-hand corner. Sable tried to get a stick on it, nothing doing. Samango, backhand shot. It just went wide. Pusateri now, and it got hit off the head referee, Bork. And puck will get dumped down the length of the ice, and that will be a Louders Baking Company icing. Thank you to Louders for being the brand newest corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Of course, speaking of this crowd I mentioned last night, a lot of Mudbug fans in attendance. Some down here to the bottom, some over to the right hand, some in Section A, and I believe a few in Section C. Mudbugs now going to win the faceoff. Adams will leave it off of Jeremiah Roberts. He scored the game's first goal. Easton shot. He got blocked all the way through. Gerhard shot. He just went off the pads of Rempel, and it'll be a whistle. We'll find out for what here momentarily. All right. He stopped. Faceoff will come out now to the right-hand side of the possession. Ty Easton now battling with Sable. It'll just go down the length of the ice, no icing. It looked like Sable beat it, but I think it was just stopped just short now. Evan Adams will take it down to the left-hand corner. Evan Adams getting battled on with Talacro. Trying to find somebody in front. Ty Easton, shot, and it just goes wide and battling in front, and it's covered up by Nicholas Rempel. And now some pushing and shoving in front. And it looks like Rempel is laid down, and some Mudbugs and Brahmas being separated by the referees. Latorno, linesman Latorno, and Sabatino separating these two teams. Always an intense night between these two teams, and why wouldn't it be? I mean, 2.5 hour drive from George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum to the NITEC Sports Center. You see this team a lot, and we're going to see them a lot depending on, we're going to see them a lot in the next time we are at home. And speaking of which, special ticket offer, which I will mention here in the next few minutes. Faceoff will now come out to the right of Rempel, and Brahma is able to come away with it now. That'll be Dan Poos now. Dan Poos will dump it down. Tried to find, and it'll be down for icing. Tried to find Vates. I had said earlier Vates was not on the ice. But there he is. Jackson Vates is out on the ice. There was an incident during his fight with Few people believed he wouldn't be out on the ice. Faceoff now out to the left of Rempel, and the aforementioned Liam Wolf-Talby will get called for false start, but he won't be kicked out. And it looks like Mudbugs are trying to get that possession. Icing called once again. 11:33 left in this contest, and speaking of that aforementioned ticket offer for these next few Mudbugs hockey home games, $55. That gets you 5 tickets, pregame skate, of course that being time being from 5:15 to 6:15, as well as hot chocolate. So to recap, you get 5 tickets, and of course, if you do need more, it's only $5 per ticket, and it's valid for the 19th and 20th against these Lone Star Brahmas, as well as the 26th and 27th game. Brahmas able to come back out with a face-off, and now some fans a shot. Fanning of a shot, Guerrero shot. That gets blocked, and it went high up. William Wolf-Talby able to come back up down with it. Sakrisky tried to find it. Just went through his stick. Wolf-Talby now. Sakrisky finds it. Stock. And the shot gets rifled on there by Stock, and will be covered up by Nicholas Rempel. 11-13 left in this contest. So to recap, because I don't think I got it all quite smoothly for those listening, wherever you may be, for the next 4 Mudbugs home games, $55 gives you the gift of Mudbugs hockey. That includes 5 tickets, and if you need to add more, it's only $5 a ticket, as well as hot chocolate and pregame skate passes. Mudbugs are able to win the faceoff, but he'll just go out of the zone. Pusateri dumps it back in. No icing called there. Excuse me, that might have been for offsides. The hand might have been for offsides. Mudbugs able to beat that nonetheless. Tremblay slapped in it, goes wide. Isaacson, nothing doing there. Mudbugs trying to keep it in the Brahmas zone. And like I mentioned, nothing doing there. Lexel now will come out with it. Pusateri and Guerrero trying to battle. Isaacson finds it. Isaacson shot just goes wide. And now Marchikainen will take it back in his own zone. Go around his net and will get some contact on there by Willie Tremblay. Isaacson for Lexel. Lexel back for Isaacson. Here comes Capano up the left-hand side. He gets some contact by Vinny DiUlio. Now Bologna will find it and get a little stuffed up there by Lexel, but he was able to get out of that clean. Jared Griner, who then gave it to Evan Adams. Evan Adams now behind his old net. Adams now going to take it himself, and he'll shoot it right on in, and Rempel will get a stick on it and leave it off for Talacro. And that'll be Scanlon, tried to get a contact on it. Brahmas now tank it back. That's Talacro. Talacro will shoot it. It'll bounce off the half wall. Duke Earhard will take it away. Now get through some Brahmas defenders. Give it off to Joe Samango, who tried to find Earhard back, but Jonah Jasper does pick it up as they're in the Brahmas zone now, and he gets battled on by Talacro. Now Denver Dampoose will take it, skate behind his own net, and he will find the stick of Capello. Capello tried to make a move to getting good defensive pressure there from Owen Case, the North Carolina native. Now Dampoose now will find Capello. His shot just goes wide over to the left-hand corner from my vantage point. Dampoose now will find Scanlon. That's Scanlon in the hill. That shot will get rolled on to the stick of Owen Case. Owen Case now getting some pressure from Brahmas. And now that'll be taken away back by the Brahmas on the right-hand corner. And Johnny Burnt making some great defensive maneuvers there to try to at least keep it. Van Ween now will take it, and that shot will get blocked into the shin guards of Joe Samango. Brahmas now take it. Bugs trying to get a line change here. And will get dumped around the boards. And Van Ween will come up with it, but nothing doing there as Grayson Gerhard able to grab it. Gerhard with at least assist on the night. And now Venchinkwe now tries to find it and gives it off to Van Wee. Van Wee will dump it into the Bug zone over to Ty Easton. And that will just trickle out of the Mudbug zone. Good stuff there. Brahmas now will try to get it back in. And they do. It goes over to the left-hand corner. My left-hand corner, of course. Ty Easton tried to backhand it out. And Remy Pusateri did come up with it. Nate Hart shot. It wasn't in the back of the net. That's the main thing. Now, Remy Pusateri will find Grayson Gerhard. Grayson Gerhard gets some contact from the aforementioned Nate Hart. Now, Brahmas trying to get a stick on it. It's an accidental collision. But nice scrum down here by the penalty box. And by scrum, I mean like a rugby scrum altogether. Puck will get rolled back in onto the Buck zone. Pusateri will take it behind his own net. Pusateri will hold on to it, even though getting some pressure there from some Brahmas. Try to find Wolf-Talby, nothing doing. Puck gets thrown back into the Bug zone, and Pusateri will come back up with it. He'll leave it off for Ty Easton. Ty Easton tried to bounce it off the glass. He did, and Wolf-Talby will take it, and it'll find Jake Stock. And now, try to find Remy Pusateri's intercepted. Marchikainen had it. He's trying to find Martin, but he came off for a line change. And now, Brahmas now. That's Pryor with some big hitting from Remy Pusateri, just able to muscle him off the puck, and he just does that. There's a hand pass called. Hand pass called there. 7:15 left in this contest. Bugs 2, Brahmas nothing. Shots on goal are 8-4 in total, and in favor, rather, of your Mudbugs. go to a timeout. We'll go with them. We'll be back after these messages and more. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and, of course, the Mudbugs Audio Network on YouTube. We'll be back in a moment.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Welcome back to the Nitech Sports Center here in North Richland Hills, Texas. Mudbugs 2, Brahmas nothing. Goals coming early on in the first. Of course, that first goal coming from Jeremiah Roberts and Evan Hoagland and Grayson Gerhardt on the assist. And then Johnny Burnt at 13:02 coming from Joe Semango and Grayson Gerhardt. 2 assists on the night for Gerhardt. Faceoff will just come outside of the Brahmas zone. Bugs win it. Guerrero will leave it off for Grayson Gerhardt. The aforementioned Grayson Gerhardt. Evan Adams now. He'll go bounce off the half wall, and actually Adams will go back and get it himself. Adams trying to find Gerhard. He gets some contact there from Talacro. And now, and it is Roberts trying to find in front, and he gets blocked in front. Now Brahmas coming the other way with it. Marchakainen with some contact from Guerrero. That is Gordon Guerrero making his lineup return. Now Evan Adams will take it back in own zone, circle around, and try to find somebody, and he finds Grayson Gerhardt, who finds Evan Hoagland on the right-hand side. Hoagland makes the move. It's still loose in front. Now Brahmas will take it back away. That's Scanlon. Scanlon will leave it off for Lexel. Lexel, some contact on there from Johnny Burnt. Gerhardt tried to grab it. Brahmas able to grab it there, but nothing doing of that phrase. Evan Hoagland now will take it back up. Fortunately, nothing. Back and forth game here, folks, in terms of possession. Tyler Hodges will backhand it for Johnny Burnt. Be a bit of a battle here on the left-hand side. Stick went to the face of it. Looked like a mudbug. Couldn't quite tell. Johnny Burnt now, his pass will get through the legs of Alexander Oliver. Alexander Oliver will take it behind his own net, at least for the moment. Now Semango intercepts it, still in the zone, and it's almost intercepted by Sable, but nonetheless, Brahmas come away with it. Dawn for Bowen Case. Now Johnny Burnt going to try to backhand, pass it up to Jonah Jasser, and he does. Jasser found Earhart momentarily with almost an interception there. Burnt, he slapped. Now, here come the Brahmas. That's number 55 inside, gets sticked away by Johnny Burnt. Defensive play there from Johnny Burnt. Tyler Hodges will leave it back behind the net for, that is Owen Case. Will find Burnt. Burnt over to Jared Greiner, some pushing and shoving there onto Jared Greiner. Puck will roll on in. Owen Case will take it back. Oh, Owen Case, and puck still in front of Marchakainen. Shot got blocked by Joe Samango. Burnt will come back up with it. And there goes there goes Jasper. Now Jared Greiner trying to get a foot race win, and he does. Greiner now will backhand it, and it will just roll on to the behind the net, and Brahmas will take it back here, but not before some contact from the Mudbugs, Willie Tremblay especially. Still in the Brahmas zone, actually, and missile. Penalty will be called. Looks like a holding call. And it will be on Willie Tremblay. Penalty will be on. He'll go on Willie Tremblay. Apologies for those who are experiencing some vibrating issues with my commentary on both NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network YouTube feed. Gonna do my best to work things out here. Face off will come out to the left of Tyler Hodges. Brahmas is able to win the face-off. Mudbugs away on the first choice. Personnel penalty kill. Coots. That's number 8, Ryan Coots. A shot, and a Brahma was thrown onto the ice. Brahma was thrown onto the ice. And of course, they do that for goals, but Coots' shot hit the post. Still 2-0 contest. 1:40 here. penalty to Willie Tremblay, and it'll be called. Yes, it will. 4:12 left in this contest. Fireplace Specialties is the proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, inserts, metals, and grills, and they've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport, or log on to fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters. Face off will come out to just in front of the Mudbugs bench. Bugs able to win it and just able to get it on in. Nicholas Rempel, like I mentioned, he came in for the third period last night in place of Cray. That is Brady Cray. And now there's a Chinkway down here on my left. He tried to find somebody in front, nothing doing. And some shots going through. And now Brahmas trying to find nothing. Excuse me, trying to find something. But Chinkway, he got his pocket picked. Good stuff there. Evan Adams will bounce it off the glass, and it'll go down the length of the ice. It looked like it hit the ref. The linesman. Looks like it hit linesman. Couldn't quite tell if it did or not, but he tried to make a move to glass. Wolf Tolby. And now Remy Pusateri will take it. Pusateri will dump it down the ice, and Rempel will take it. Coots now gonna leave it. And now out come the Brahmas out from behind their own net. That is Gustav Lexel. He'll leave it off for like Vincenzo Capano. Capano for Van Wee. Van Wee now able to, and it will just go off the back side of the cage of Tyler Hodges. Some pushing and shoving right actually behind the net of Tyler Hodges on the boards, and Brahma's able to come back up with it. That's Coots for Isaacson now. Isaacson down there for Capano. His shot gets blocked, and it did roll onto the net. Van Wee gets taken down. Guerrero taken down and comes back up with it. They both come back up, or at least Guerrero did for the moment. Whew. 2:39 left in this contest, and 5 seconds left on the Willie Tremblay holding penalty. Of course, the first choice personnel penalty kill. Mudbugs Hockey United is brought to you by friends at Down Home Meats. Family owned and operated Down Home Meats has been serving the good folks of the Stonewall, Louisiana for over 40 plus years. We're dedicated to creating sausages the way it was made 100 years ago and focusing on natural casings to give you the very best old school smoke flavored sausage. Bugs win the faceoff, and it goes down the ice, and that will be another first choice personnel penalty killed for your Mudbugs. Capello now here on the left. Capello finds it up for Scanlon. Scanlon for Sable. His shot gets off the pads of Tyler Hodges. He tried to find Joe Samango. It got taken away by the Brahmas. Sable now. We're in the right-hand corner, I should add. Dampoose shot, and that shot gets blocked. It went loose for a second, but it was swallowed up by Tyler Hodges. 2:06 left in this game. Mudbugs 2. Brahmas nothing. Of course, goals coming from Jeremiah Roberts, assisting Evan Honey Burnt. Assisting, of course, is Joe Samango and Grayson Gerhard. First goal coming at 18:43 in the first, and second goal coming at 13:02 in the first. Mudbugs have killed off 2 penalties tonight. Face-off off to the right of Hodges. Brahmas win the face-off. Martikainen. That shot got blocked on the way through. It looked like it actually got blocked by his teammate Pryor. Now, the puck will get onto the stick of Remy Pusateri. Martikainen, though, will grab it, keep it in the zone, and Polonier will take it off now, and it'll find Grayson Gerhard, and he'll get it on in. Rempel will put a stick on it, and it looks like it will be a penalty called. Jeremiah Roberts with some contact, and interference is the call. Interference will be the call on Camden Pryor. Mudbugs will go back on the Scott Powerline power play for the second time tonight. Of course, their first chance was not as successful. That was earlier on in the period, 17:47, and Maddox Talacro's penalty. But Mudbugs will get another chance here on the first choice personnel penalty kill. 2 minutes have been put on the board here. Number 23, Camden Pryor, 2 minutes for interference. Want to give a big hello to Mudbugs, longtime Mudbugs fan, and Mudbugs insider Matt Nelson. Hope he's doing well. 1:41 left in this contest. Of course, now in the box for the Brahmas is Camden Pryor. 2 minutes on the board for interference. Bugs now win the faceoff. Adams for Gerhard. Couldn't quite get a read on the number. Now Gerhard will hold it in now after a pass from Joseph Mango. Jasser with a stick on it, and now it just gets lost and sent down the ice for the Brahmas. And now, that is Scanlon. That is Tyson Scanlon. Now he tried to come up with it in the Mudbug zone, but nonetheless, the other number 7, Grayson Gerhard, comes away with it. Willie Tremblay over on the right. Tremblay to Samango. Samango turns back around, and he'll find Evan Adams by his lonesome at the top, who will give it right back to Samango. He'll grab it for Jasser. Jasser will throw it on net, and it just hit the body of Nicholas Rempel. Of course, now the puck will come out of the Brahmas zone, and it looked like he was trying to find Jonah Jasser, but it went into the skates of Talacro. He gets a bit of contact there. Willie Tremblay trying to find somebody in front. Evan Adams now with it at the top of the key. Nothing doing. It got blocked on the way. 1 minute remaining left in this. 1 minute left in the number down the ice. They will. Jeremiah Roberts will come up with it. Roberts able to get his first goal as a Mudbug, at least. Yeah. Earhart now, and he lost it. Roberts came back up with it, and now it's still in the Bug zone. Good stuff there. 5 seconds left in this in this period. Not quite at the end of this contest yet, folks. More to come. And it's the end of the period. Mudbugs 2, Brahmas nothing. Goals coming, of course, from Jeremiah Roberts and Johnny Burnt. Of course, that first goal from Roberts coming at 18:43 in the first, and from Roberts at 18:43 in the period, and the second goal from Burnt at 13:02. When we come back, my conversation with Grayson Gerhard. He was supposed to be last night's conversation, but some technical issues transpired, and while it was possibly heard on the NATV feed, I feel like people want at least this time around. He had a lot to say in terms of playing well. Mudbugs now coming down and going back into the tunnel below me, as well as the Mudbug staff. Looks like Billy Welker's coming off with a broken stick. Can't quite tell of who. Can't quite tell of who yet. It looks like the stick of Gordon Guerrero, and honestly, I don't know. And now it's the start of the North Caddo Express Loop first intermission report. First intermission show, I should add. Like I mentioned, the first intermission is powered to you by our friends at North Caddo Express Loop in Vivian, offering oil changes, inspection stickers, transmission services, and vehicle batteries, as well as Keep Bob batteries. Mention a discount code MUDBUGS25 and get 10% off your service. Call them at 318-375-5823 for more information. Mudbug fan.
Ahead of your competition to succeed. One dishonest employee providing poor customer service can send your business to the penalty box. DeFata and Associates has over 20 years of investigative experience that can help you monitor your employees and investigate losses that may be keeping you from reaching your goals. Whether you need GPS tracking, investigative shopping, integrity testing, or you're experiencing losses caused by theft, DeFata and Associates can help. Give them a call at 318-635-9944 or check out their website at defatapi.com for more information.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Welcome back to the North Caddo Express Loop First Intermission Show. I'm Duncan Welker. Now joining me is Mudbugs forward number 7, Grayson Gerhard. Grayson, welcome in.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So let me be one of, well, maybe not one of the first. You've been here about a week now. Let me be one of the many, I guess, to welcome you to Shreveport.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
I am. And speaking of being here in Shreveport, how was your first week here?
It was good. It was, I've been in the league for a while now and played here before, so I kind of knew what it was like, but I'd never been on the other side, so it was good to get here and have the boys kind of get me into things, and kind of got right into it, and it was really easy to get used to and get a kind of change into a Mudbug. So, but it was really easy. It was good. So.
Yep. So of course you mentioned that. Of course, Grayson comes to us from the Corpus Christi ice race in a trade that sent Andre Parichka back over to the ice race. So, Grayson, speaking of that trade, something I'm actually curious about is what was What was your initial reaction when you first heard you were coming over here?
It was, it wasn't expected for sure. It was happened kind of on a Monday morning, so start to the week, not really what you're expecting.
Right.
But I was kind of shocked at first, but then you kind of give it a couple hours, and it's kind of excitement builds, getting to a new spot, new guys. Obviously a better team, so you're going to be playing with better players. So it was good. I was excited for it.
Of course, and of course you mentioned you've been in the league with the aforementioned Ice Wings, but you're also with last year, if I'm correct on that.
Yeah.
So you're a veteran of this league. Of course, this is your last year in terms of junior hockey play. But you're going outside of maybe not outside of your hockey career, but outside of your junior hockey career, if that makes sense.
It's been fun, but just getting to school is going to be fun. I know for sure. I mean, it's been a while since I've done really any schoolwork,
Right.
so just having a different schedule every day and new people and just a new part of life. It's going to be a fun experience. So I'm excited for that.
Good. Good. Well, now we move into the game aspect of things. Last week we come off a split series against the El Paso Rhinos. Of course, the first one being a 6-3 regulation loss, in the second game, of course, being a shootout win. And speaking of those games, you actually recorded your first 2 points as a Mudbug, assist on both a goal coming, I believe, if it wasn't the first goal, I believe it was the second goal. I could be wrong on that, but nonetheless, you recorded your first 2 points as a Mudbug, and a lot of people were telling me, "Oh, this Gerhard kid's gonna be really good," and I was like, "I think so." But moving along here, sitting here with Mudbugs forward number 7, Grayson Gerhard. Speaking of that number 7, I'm actually curious. You were number 7 in Corpus. What number were you 7 in Amarillo as well?
Yes, I was.
What's the story behind that number for you?
Kind of
there is one.
Kind of just a lucky number. I mean, birthday's on the 7th.
7th of
February. It's on the 7th, and then it's kind of just, a lucky number for me. And then I think also it's just a lucky number. So
right.
There's a lot of things that say 7 is kind of a good number. So
a la Sidney Crosby and how his 87 number kind of fits into everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Yeah. Of course, the story behind that being, his birthday is 8/7/1987.
Mm-hmm.
For those who are unaware of that, but enough about him. He doesn't play for it. Of course, talking to Grayson Gerhard. So, Grayson, of course, this week we come against the Lone Star Brahmas. Of course, you've had experience against them not only last year in the playoffs, but also in seeing them many times with both Corpus and Amarillo. But also, this rivalry between the Mudbugs and the Brahmas is a rivalry that not only stretches both teams' times here in 10 years. Brahmas a little bit more to have, but it also stretches their time in the Central Hockey League as well as the Western Professional Hockey League. A rivalry also in this building, Georgia Spawn at Hearst Coliseum. How about say, what are some of the things you've heard about this rivalry so far?
A lot. I mean, obviously it's 2 really good teams that are consistently good, so it's going to be a good game every time we play them. I'm excited to get into it. I've played them a lot, but it really hasn't been crazy competitive.
Right.
Like last year it was good, and we had a really competitive team against Lone Star, but I'm excited this year to get into it and see what we can do. I know we haven't played them here yet, so it'll be good.
Yeah, I'm about to say, of course, we're going to be in the NITEC Sports Center over there in North Richland Hills, Texas, which is affectionately known rather as the Shoebox.
Mm-hmm.
So tell people what that's like playing in such a tight but intense atmosphere. And I say that versus George's Pond here at Hearst Coliseum, because it's a little bit more spread out compared to an NITEC Sports Center. So tell the folks what that's like.
No, it's really fun. They have a lot of fans and they're loud. So being in that small building with the bleachers and everyone kind of on top of you, it's really loud and it's hard to play in, but it makes for a fun atmosphere and it's always competitive. So the games are always fun when you get into them.
Oh yeah. And like I mentioned, this rivalry, of course, stretches the North American Hockey League tenures of both teams, but also the tenures of the 2 teams in the Central Hockey League and the Western Professional Hockey League. So almost, 30 years of Mudbug Brahma rivalry. Well, if you exclude the brief hiatus the Mudbugs took, but enough about that for at least right now. So moving on to you, Grayson, what is something that a lot of people don't know? Yeah, I'm a little curious actually about that. Any hidden talents that people don't know?
Not really any hidden talents. I mean, hockey, but it's not really hidden.
Right.
I am from Texas originally, so I grew up and played in Texas for
from
most of
Allen,
my life. Yeah, not far from here. So I think that's pretty fun. Not a lot of people play hockey out of Texas.
Oh,
So.
Yeah, but I think some would say that Texas is kind of growing as a hockey state.
Yeah,
And speaking
for sure.
of Allen, it's kind of a oblivious question, maybe, but did you go to any Americans games?
I did, yeah. When I was younger, those were always something we would try and go to.
Yeah, good. I was about to say, of course, the Mudbugs, when they were in the Central Hockey League, had a bit of an extensive series with the Allen Americans, who are now in the East Coast Hockey League, ECHL. No, they don't really use that long-term phrasing anymore. So, Grayson, moving on. I was about to say, who are you staying with so far in terms of ability?
I'm with the Gibbs. I'm with Greiner and Adams.
Greiner and Adams with the Gibbs.
It's been great. So it's been really easy to move into and get adjusted. So that's really helped me too.
That's
get
good.
Adjusted to Shreveport. So it's been great.
It's good that they're able to get you adjusted like that. Because being told, hey, you're moving, the other way, is kind of one of those things. All right. So, Grace, I'm gonna ask you two more things. I'm gonna let you get going here. The first one being, what's one of the, kind of a multi-layered question, if you will. Firstly, who's your favorite NHL team? I'm going to assume Texas Stars?
No, it's not.
Really?
No. Yeah, I'm a Toronto fan, actually.
Maple Leafs? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, and your favorite player is?
Probably Matthews. Big Austin Matthews
Austin
fan.
Matthews guy. Good. I'm about to say Austin Matthews. I'm about to say, do you after a bit or
a little
somebody
bit?
Else?
Yeah, no, a little bit. I try and model his game to mine. Defensive forward, kind of 200 foot, but can also score and create.
So defensive forward is where you're trying to be at.
Trying to be better at that.
Okay. All right. So kind of that multi-layered question there. Of course, this last one, I'm going to let you get going here after this one. It is the post-Thanksgiving time, and so with that in mind, I'm a big food guy. If no one's told you already yet. But what's your favorite Thanksgiving food item? Well, besides, any main staples.
I'd say stuffing for sure.
Stuffing?
Yeah, I always load the plate up with stuffing whenever I get the chance to during Thanksgiving, and
how about
it's always good.
How about any particular stuffing? Like, I know there's some people who make cornbread stuffing, anything like that, or just plain?
Just
plain out of the box?
Yeah, really anything stuffing is great. So.
Okay. How about saying, are you a big pie guy?
I am. Yeah.
Pumpkin or pecan or sweet potato?
Actually, me and my girlfriend tried pecan pie this summer. She kind of told me about it, and I actually really liked it.
Okay.
It was really good. So.
All right, pecan pie guy.
Yeah.
I would say I'm basically anywhere in the middle. Pecan, pumpkin.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys on this Mudbugs roster are. Well, Grayson, thank you for joining me here on the North Caddo Express Loop First Intermission Show. It's good to talk to you and, of course, get these Mudbugs fans to know you, because I think a lot of people were kind of shocked when they first heard you were coming over here, and they didn't really know a lot about you. But now they know a little bit more about number 7, Grayson Gerhard. Of course, we'll be back with more after these messages in the North Caddo Express Loop. Once again, thank you to Grayson Gerhard for joining me. Always good.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. And we'll be back with more after these messages in the North Caddo Express Loop First Intermission Show. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Welcome back inside the NYTEX Sports Center here in North Richland Hills, Texas. Just a stone's throw away. Well, maybe a long stone's throw, let's put it bluntly, from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Mudbugs 2, Brahmas nothing. And, of course, if you're watching on NATV right now, a beautiful figure skater, some figure skating action here, a young girl here, skating to the tunes of Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride from Lilo and Stitch. But, nonetheless, we move on here in the North Caddo Express Loop. First Intermission Show, of course, brought to you by our friends and powered by our friends at the North Caddo Express Loop. In Vivian offers mission services and vehicle batteries, as well as key fob batteries. Mention the discount code MUDBUGS25 and get 10% off your service. Once again, that's MUDBUGS25. So basically think of number 25, Liam Wolf Talby, when you're putting in your discount code MUDBUGS, Liam Wolf Talby. Nonetheless, call them at 318-375-5823 and get more information on that. Once again, Mudbugs 25, get 10% off on your service. And now, folks, it is time for the Shreveport Regional Airport First Intermission Scoreboard Update. Of course, the fans here in Lone Star are applauding the young woman for her figure skating efforts. But now it is time for the Shreveport Regional Airport First Intermission Scoreboard Update. Join me as we fly around the world of sports. First, we're going to start off with the rest of the North American Hockey League action going on tonight. Corpus Christi, we're going to start off in the South Division. Corpus Christi, they have a 2-1 lead over the New Mexico Ice Wolves. Chase Naring with both of those goals for the Ice Rays, and Tim Hoyko for the goal for the Ice Rays. That game in the second period. And, of course, here in North Richland Hills, it is 2-0 Mudbugs. Goals coming from Jeremiah Roberts and Johnny Byrne. We'll get you some of those more advanced numbers a little bit here later on. Moving along here, Amarillo, they have a 1-0 lead over the Rhinos. Mudbugs will see the Wranglers next week. And that's it for at least South Division action, at least on my radar. Now I can see here. Moving along here, some games going final. The New Jersey Titans defeated the Johnstown Tomahawks 4-0. Of course, New Jersey, the Titans defeated them last night as well. Rochester and Elmira, the Aviators, they're tied up at 3 with 7:35 left in the third. The Maine Nordiques have a 6-1 lead over the Northeast Generals. It looks like that game is just ready to end in the third period, so it looks like Maine will get a win there. Gary Hat-tricks, that game in the second intermission, 3 over the Janesville Jets with 44 seconds left in the third period. The St. Cloud Northmen 4-0, that game in the early stages of the third period. The Philadelphia Rebels 3-1 over the New Hampshire Mountain Kings, 15:25 left in that contest there. The Watertown Shamrocks, they currently are defeating the Minot Minotauro on the docket. For the North American Hockey League is the Kenai River Brown Bears and the Fairbanks Ice Dogs, and I'll start at 7:30 Alaska time. Now let's look at some scores at the rest. And of course, college football first. And, well, if you're an LSU Tiger fan, either you're waiting for the end of the season, a potential Lane Kiffin press conference as the Tigers take a tough and tight loss to the Oklahoma Sooners, 17-13. Washington State defeating the Oregon State Beavers, currently leading Rice, I should add, 38-3. MSU 24-14 over Maryland right now. That game in the third quarter. Tulane 21-0 over Charlotte. John Summerall, fun fact about them, he has emerged as a head coaching candidate for both LSU as well as Florida, the Gators. A lot of coaching moving action in college football. NC State, they lead UNC and Bill Belichick 28-10. Of course, in the Iron Bowl, big rivalry game there if you're in the state of Alabama and across college football, I should add. 17-3 in favor of the Crimson Tide. 14-10 between Illinois and Northwestern University up there in Illinois. Now referees are coming back out on the ice. Moving along here, UCLA, they have a 10-7 lead over USC. Cal, they have a 17-7 lead. UNLV has a 7-0 lead over Nevada. Of course, that game in the first quarter. Some games still in the docket. Fresno State and SJSU. Notre Dame and Stanford. Hawaii and Wyoming. Florida defeating FSU. Florida State University 40-21. JMU defeating Coastal Carolina 59-10. And Duke defeating Wake 49-32. Let's take a look at some NHL action here before we get you back. Get you back to Chet Yoder and game time action, but I digress. We move along. Penguins are trailing the Maple Leafs 6-2. That game in the third period. Red Wings they are tied with the Bruins 1-1. The Flyers have a 4-3 lead over the Devils. The Jets 3-2 lead over the trailing the Wild 2-1, and Mammoth and the Blues, that's the Utah Mammoth, St. Louis Blues, all tied up at 0 in the second period. Some games also going final throughout the day. The Oilers defeating the Kraken 4-0. The Avalanche defeating the Canadiens. Just want to make sure I had everything set up. 7 Rangers 4-1. So, in Shreveport here, in Lone Star, it is 2-0 Mudbugs. Both teams now coming back out onto the ice. Right there in the Brahmas tunnel, but looks to be okay. I believe that is number 5. Yes, that is number 5 there. Eric Alexander looks like he's coming out onto the tunnel. Zink Stock with a quick circle around the face-off circle on the left hand. Just outside now the Brahmas zone. Brahmas will be skating from left to right. Mudbugs from right to left. Mudbugs will also be on a 19-second Scott Powerline power play. Of course, that penalty was occurring in the first, of course, from Camden Pryor. An interference call at 1:41 in the first period. Of course, we're going to get you those advanced numbers right quick here. Tyler Hodges stopping 9 of 9 so far. Nicholas Rempel, 8 of 10 shots facing his way. Shots on goal coming into the second period. It's 10-9 in favor of the Mudbugs. Of course, those aforementioned 2 goals from the Mudbugs coming from Jeremiah Roberts and Johnny Burnt. Assists on those goals from the first one, Evan Hoagland and Grayson Gerhard. Second one on Burnt's goal from Semengo and Gerhard. Penalties in that period was Maddox Talacro's high sticking at 17:47. Grayson Gerhard's interference at 15:16. Willie Alexis Tremblay's holding minor at 4:34. And Camden Pryor interference still ongoing at 1:41 in the period. Referees now discussing with Lone Star. They were looking up to the scoreboard here, the big scoreboard here. Can't quite tell what's going on in terms of, I don't know, it looked like to be some issues with Brahmas personnel, Brahmas players, I should add. And into the box, okay. He tried to pull a fast one. Pryor tried to pull a fast one and be on the Brahmas bench, but he's now in back to the box. Face off underway. Mudbugs win the face off. Earhart able to get it in. Okay, that's interesting concept. Now Poloni will give it down to Earhart, down left-hander corner. Be 2 seconds, 1 second, and the Brahmas have killed off that penalty. Brahmas will send it down the length of the ice. Icing is called. 1932, of course, early on here in the second period. Tonight's second period, as always, is brought to you by our friends at DeFata and Associates Investigative Risk Analysis Services. Personal matter, trial justice. Call our main man, Jerry DeFata, at 318-635-9944 to discuss your case or log on to defatapi.com. Big thank you to DeFata and Associates for sponsoring tonight's broadcast. Now, face-off was off to the left of Rempel. Brahma's able to win the face-off, but Mudbug's able to come up with it. Oh, and Case gets some bodied on Capon. Now, that is Sable. Looks like he's got a bubble face protective on his helmet. Icing was called. 1918 left in this contest. Face-off will come back out to the left of Nicholas Rempel. Shots are 10-9 in favor of the Mudbugs. 1918 left in this contest, in this period. Pryor now comes up with it. And now Pryor stays with it. Now Pryor on the left-hand side. Pryor tries to get on in. And shot was able to just get gloved up by Tyler Hodges. Okay. Well, for what it's worth, the rivalry has been felt by many players of both of these franchises, both at the professional and junior ranks. But, of course, it's also felt by the fans of both of these organizations. Section B is having an interesting time. Of course, Section C right next to them, giving some interesting looks. Face-off now out to the right of Hodges. Puck will just bounce out of the Brahma zone and go down the length of the ice. No icing called. Griner now trying to get on with Alexander Oliver. Lex will try to come up with it before he's bodied down by Ty Easton. Good bit of contact there from Ty Easton. Jared Griner trying to be out alone with Capano. Blue line goes wide. It looked like it came from Ty Easton. It did. And now here comes Capano. Capano on the right-hand side trying to find somebody in front. Nothing doing. Puck in front. And it will get cleared out of the Mudbug zone. Will it go down for icing? Yes, it will. Okay. I couldn't quite see it. It did actually go all the way down the ice, at least from my vantage point. I thought it had stopped short, but icing is called, and face-off will now come back into the Bug zone. Looks like it'll be off to the left of Tyler Hodges. Tyler Hodges so far, an excellent performance, repeating his last night's performance, stopping 29 of 30 last night against these Brahmas. Brahmas now able to control the face-off cleanly, at least for the most part. And Venchinkwe now trying to find the puck there. And we'll get rolled back up to Coots. Coots shot, and it's swallowed up into the equipment of Tyler Hodges. Some pushing and shoving there coming from Vinny DiUlio, as well as Venchinkwe. Been an interesting battle with that name. But Christian Venchinkwe and Vinny DiUlio get some words, and nothing doing. But to my earlier point, Tyler Hodges with an excellent repeat performance so far. And as Chet Yoder says, and as it's the old adverb in hockey, 2-0 goal leads are always the hardest to keep. Mudbugs are finding that out right now. 18-18 left in this contest. Thank you for tuning in to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and, of course, the Mudbugs Audio Network on YouTube. Hopefully things are fixed on that front. And puck will go back down the length of the ice. No icing as Rempel will come out to play it. Bates is on his left, and, of course, now it'll get – sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I just had a brain lapse. Apologies. Samango now able to come back out with it, and Mudbugs trying to find a clear possession now, and now they will inside. Earhart has Jasser in front. Jasser able to make something out of nothing, but unfortunately that's something of nothing. Nothing doing now. Brahmas come back the other way. Martin, he gets his pocket picked by Polonian. Brahmas try to get a line change. They did. Talacro is going to get it on in, and it will just go around the boards. Coots now up in the front end. The shot got blocked on the way through. That stick down by Scanlon. Scanlon shot going up and going onto the glass and went wide. The Jazz was trying to find Earhart and it got blocked on the way through. Got deflected rather. Puck still in the Mudbug zone. Some pushing and shoving. A bit of a scrum there. Earhart, they were able to break it. Brahmas still back with it. Coots now will leave it off. And now Brahmas down low into the zone of the Mudbugs. Pusateri gets some contact from Vates. Still some contact there, and Joe Samango will dump it out, and it'll just bounce on down, but not all the way down. Sable now. Sable, some contact. And now, Sakrisky, will he be able to capitalize on shooting? No, he will not. Mudbugs. Sakrisky tried to capitalize on opportunity. Alexander now, and Scanlon trying to find the puck, and it will go out of the Mudbug zone. Stock now going to try to find somebody, possibly Chase Krisky, but nothing doing there. Now Scanlon will come back with it. Scanlon will able to try to get right past Evan Adams, and Owen Case will come up with it. He'll give it off to Chase Krisky, but not before Brahma was able to find a way through. Oliver's shot got bounced out and bounced around, deflections all around. Adams now trying to get the puck out of the Mudbug zone here. 16:09 left in this contest. Now Liam Wolf-Talby will take it. It goes off the skate of Chase Sakrisky. Sakrisky now will take it. Sakrisky getting some stick contact from all Brahmas involved. Stock tried to pull it back in, and Mudbug's able to grab it, at least for the moment, in front, and it rolls on front, and it rolls on into the net of Nicholas Rempel, and it's covered up. Some pushing and shoving down to Rempel's left. It'll be quelled momentarily. I say momentarily for a reason. 15:51 left to go in this second period. Of course, Mudbugs Hockey United brought to you by our friends at Johnny's Pizza House. Johnny's Pizza House, let's share a slice of the best pizza in town, as well as Coors Light. Coors Light made to chill. Coming up in the second intermission, of course, brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. But first, penalties. Roughing each man. That'll be number 4, Alexander Oliver, going in the box for the Brahmas. And for the Mudbugs, Jake Stock will go into the box. 2 each for roughing, and it'll be a 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes. Of course, the faceoff will still be in the Brahmas zone and be off to the left of Nicholas Rempel. Looks like Evan Hoagland will take the faceoff against Dylan McFadden. Brahmas able to win the faceoff. Martikainen now will circle around just momentarily, and now he'll be behind his own net. Now Martikainen comes out with it. Martikainen now over to Talacro. Talacro, and it'll just bounce off the stick, and after a brief Mudbugs possession, it got turned back over to Martikainen now. And now the Mudbugs able to come back up with it. Evan Hoagland and Grayson Gerhard. And now Gerhard will take it back. It's poke checked away by McFadden, but Case will come back up with it. He'll go behind his own net. Now Owen Case skating out with it. Gives it off to Johnny Burnt. Burnt to Gerhard. Gets turned over in the neutral zone. Case now with some contact on McFadden, but able to come back up with the puck now. Gerhard. Jason Gerhard with 2 assists on the night so far, and that puck gets turned over, and McFadden taking it along, but he gets his pocket picked by Evan Hoagland. Evan Hoagland now will skate behind his own net, and he'll take it himself. Now, Evan Hoagland, he'll go glide in through the neutral zone. Evan Hoagland, his shot got blocked on the way through, got deflected rather. Now Brahmas will take it back out. but not before. Poloni will try to get sick on it, but nonetheless, Isaacson. And Isaacson's pass to Coots got intercepted by Grayson Gerhard. Gerhard now will give it off to Johnny Byrne, who then will give it off to Nandor Poloni. Burnt will take it back. Try to make a little shimmy shake move. Almost got his pocket picked. And now Johnny Byrne, no, that gets turned over in front. Lexel's shot saved and swallowed up by Tyler Hodges. 34 seconds left to both Jonah Jasser. Really? Okay. Oh, no, wait. No, okay. So on the stat sheet, it says Jonah Jasser. Yet in the box is Jake Stock. Interesting stuff there. Of course, for Lone Star is Ed Alexander Oliver. Brahmas able to win the faceoff. Faceoff was to the right of Hodges. Now Roberts trying to come up with it. He gets his pocket picked. Griner gets some contact. He went down to an aim. Martikainen, he'll circle around once again. Going to go back behind his own net. Quarterback to play. 18 seconds left on the 4-on-4. Martikainen now, he'll give it off to Talacro. Went off the skates of Talacro. Nandor Poloni try to find Jeremiah Roberts. Almost got some contact there from Martikainen. And puck will bounce off of the skates of Poloni. Now Roberts will take it back. Bounce off the skates of Poloni once again. Evan Adams now will find Jeremiah Roberts, who then the stick will roll on to Jared Griner. Trying to find somebody in front. Jake Stock. The shot went up front of net. And now some Brahmas. 3-on-1 attack to Jake Stock. Stock was trying to poke Jake's puck because he thought it was loose. But a swarm of Brahmas came in towards him. 13:44 left in his contest. Shots are even. And Jake Stock will go back to the box. Jake Stock will go back to the box. Mudbugs fans down below me asking why. Of course, if we were back in Shreveport, the penalty would go Mudbugs penalty to number 16, Jake Stock. For what? And that to answer to that is slashing. 2-minute minor on the board. Mudbugs now on the first choice personnel penalty kill. Thank you to first choice personnel for sponsoring this Shreveport Mudbugs hockey broadcast. Faceoff will now come out to the right of Tyler Hodges. Vinny DiUlio will take the faceoff against Capello. That is number 89, Anthony Capello. Brahma's able to win the faceoff, and Jinkway tried to get a stick on it, and now go back up to the blue lines. Oliver now, he'll find, or it looked like he was going to find Martikainen. Martikainen now holding it top of the blue line. Over for Oliver. Oliver for Capello. Capello, that puck got lost in translation. And he'll go back up to the blue line. Oliver now after a pass from Martikainen. And now Capello will leave it off. Now Martikainen will find it over to Oliver. Oliver for Capello. Try to find something in front. Nothing doing. Ben Chinkway just trying to backhand it past Tyler Hodges. Good defensive play there from the Bugs. And now some action there from Vinny DiUlio on defensive wise. Now prior shot, it just goes up, and I think it was deflected up onto the glass. Nonetheless, puck rolls around, and it looks like, yes, it will be cleared. And it looked like Liam Wolf-Talby was the man who cleared it down. Good stuff from Liam Wolf-Talby. Now that'll be number 91 and Martikainen. Martikainen now will take it himself, and then will give it off to number 17. Neil Isaacson, Brahma's leading point scorer. Now Adams getting battled on with Lexel. Jasser will find it, and he will dump it down the length of the ice. 40 seconds left in the Stock slashing minor. Now Brahmas will take it back out. 30 seconds on the aforementioned Stock slashing minor. And of course, Mudbugs will hold it. And Guerrero got a little contact on there. Puck will roll around the back of the net of Tyler Hodges. Back of the cage, I should add. 15 seconds left on the penalty. 11:55 left in this contest. Now Coots, one last attempt from the Brahmas. Shot got blocked on the way through. Another shot swallowed up by Tyler Hodges. Able to deflect away many of the opportunities from the Lone Star Brahmas on their power play, but of course on the Mudbugs first choice personnel penalty kill. 11:48 left in this contest. Mudbugs Hockey Night. And as always, it's brought to you by our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, sports. Thank you to Buffalo Wild Wings. As well as, if you have any birthday parties, corporate get-together, school trips, and or any other private events, just come on over to George's Pond. Call us at 318-636-7094. Brahmas will able to take the face-off. 2 seconds, one. First choice personnel penalty killed that shot. Up from the Brahmas, that'd be number 24, Denver Dampoose. Swallowed up by Tyler Hodges. Excellent shot from Denver Dampoose, and just as the penalty expired, and it was able to be swallowed up by Tyler Hodges. If you're looking to come to a Mudbugs game with a group, ask about our group rates for future home games this season. Any group 10 or more, it's $10 a ticket. Call us to book your group at 318-636-7094 or email our director of ticket sales, Mason Sprott. Of course, now Brahmas will take it back out of their own zone, or excuse me, out of the Mudbug zone, rather. Eyes aren't what they used to be, folks, but nonetheless, Gerhard going to backhand it to Roberts. Roberts going to get it on into the Brahmas zone. Hodges, Hoagland. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Roberts. And now Vates will take it away. We'll just roll on into the Mudbugs zone. And Hoagland tries to take it. Got some contact there. Poloni will battle on, and puck will come back up to the blue line. Blue line defensive pairing, but not before. Now before Mudbugs take it away, they tried to bounce it off, and it just bounced off of one of the linesmen. Grayson Gerhard now going to be with it, and he just pesters it into the Brahmas zone, and Bug still with it. Roberts just bounces off the side of the cage. Case shot, and it just gets blocked away by Pull. And now Roberts in front. Roberts, that shot got sticked away by Rimple. And now out come the Brahmas. That's number 52, Maddox Telacro. Telacro's attempt will go all the way down for icing. 10-17 left in this contest. Shots on goal are even at the moment. 2-0 Mudbugs. Of course, the goals coming in the first from Jeremiah Roberts and Johnny Burnt. Talk to him next week. Of course, this Brahmas lineup, I thought was going to be initially changed. Now the referee's down here talking about was that actually icing, and of course the rule is if it was a mistake by the refs, the faceoff will come back out to the neutral zone, and that's actually what it was last night in Remy Pusateri's second empty net goal attempt. Mudbugs had thought, hey, that wasn't icing, and they were right, so the faceoff came back to the neutral zone on Remy Pusateri's second empty net goal attempt. Referee still talking. $10-17 left in this contest. Claws up boosters, watching, listening, and possibly even here tonight. A lot of Claws Up Booster fans, Booster Club members rather. Now referee going over to talk to the Mudbugs bench to discuss just what's going on. Of course. And okay. Looks like Evan Hoagland will be shown the door. Okay. Evan Hoagland will be shown the door. He does not look happy, and I'm a little confused on that on my own, actually. Interesting set of circumstances here. Of course, right now looks like there's 2 minutes on the board for number 2 on the Brahmas. Of course, there's no one there. I don't think they meant to put that. No one in the box for the Brahmas. Now gets cleared away. So now the 2 minutes will go on the board for Evan Hoagland. Mudbugs will be on the first choice personnel penalty kill once we come out of this brief timeout. Brahmas fans are serenading the Mudbugs. Not gonna lie, I've heard better singing. I've heard better singing elsewhere. A game misconduct, okay. Evan Hoagland with a game misconduct and equipment violation, as well as one for Denver Dampoose. So looks like there'll be 2 minutes put on the board for Evan Hoagland. And if that's the case, I'm surprised there's not one for Dan Poos right now. Of course, referee's now explaining the situation. Of course, the penalty box door to the Mudbugs is now opening. So as it stands right now, Mudbugs are on the first choice personnel penalty kill for an equipment violation. And who else goes into the box, folks, for the Mudbugs is Jake Stock. Might want to get a TV or a air mattress in there. Okay, so Stock will go into the box now. Okay, so let's get everything cleared up here. Evan Hoagland with a helmet removal, game misconduct for 10 minutes. He gets the door. Stock with an equipment violation will go into the box. Mudbugs, first choice personnel penalty kill. Faceoff will come out right in front of the Mudbugs just outside the Brahmas zone. And on that faceoff, the Brahmas win it. And now Brahmas take it away, and Capano will find his man over on the left-hand side of the blue line. His pass got deflected by Duke Earhart, but Brahmas still come back up with it. Now be Isaacson. He'll try to find his man down on the right-hand corner here. Isaacson, hold it, shot, and he just got blocked on the way through. Mudbugs will blam it down to the Rempel there for the Brahmas, Nicholas Rempel. And now Brahmas will take it back out. Coots now gonna take it himself, at least for the moment. Coots will take it himself. All right. Coots, backhand attempt. It looks like it was going to be a pass, and Lexel will find it. Lexel, one of the leading Brahmas point scorers, gets held up there by a Mudbug. Can't quite tell who from this vantage point. Brahmas still come back up with the puck. Coots now over to look like number 17, and he shot. That shot from Lexel into the net, into the netting rather. 1 minute and 2 seconds left on the equipment violation penalty to Jacob Stock. And like I mentioned, if you're looking on if you're looking on NAHL.com, the website of the league, lots of fun stuff there. If you're following the game there, Jacob Stock was assessed an equipment violation, as well as Denver Dampoos for the Lone Star Brahmas, but I don't see Dampoos in the box, so interesting. Okay, well, nonetheless, Mudbugs win the faceoff, and they clear it down the length of the ice. Of course, 55 seconds left on the Stock penalty. And Rempel will leave it off for number 91, Aaron Martikainen. Brahmas now, Capello, will give it to Martikainen, who then will give it to Pryor. Pryor now gives it off to Capello. Capello back to Pryor. Pryor gets his pocket picked. Actually, a pass was intercepted by Owen Case, and he'll get down the length of the ice. 30 seconds left on the Stock penalty, and the first choice personnel penalty kill. Now Brahmas come back up with it. That's Alexander Oliver for Venchinkwe. Venchinkwe will just be able to get it in, but not before it's able to get on the stick of Evan Adams, but not cleared yet. Brahmas still with it. 15 seconds left on that Stock penalty. First choice personnel penalty kill. Now Oliver, top, sends it back over. Now we're going to play a nice game of tic-tac-toe real quick. Can't be much longer. 3, 2, and tried to find Martikainen. Nothing doing. Mudbugs kill off first, and another successful first choice personnel penalty kill. Stock coming out of the box hot. I don't blame him. But nonetheless, we move on. Capello shot. Got blocked on the way through by a Mudbug. Good stuff there. Oliver now. Puck will go around the boards. Martikainen will grab it after some contact from Vinny Giulio. He's pinned up against the boards. Now Mudbugs come back up with it. And that's Evan Adams. Adams now. He's able to get it in. And a bit of contact there from Oliver to Stock. Rempel will leave it off for a Brahma player. And now Scanlon, he'll get it on into the Mudbug zone. Poloni will get some contact from a Brahma player. Brahma's now over here in the left-hand corner of from my vantage point. We'll take it back. Dampoos now will keep it in. Dampoos' shot gets deflected up into the netting. 7:26 left in this contest. 2-0 Mudbugs. Goals, of course, coming from Jeremiah Roberts and Johnny Byrne in the first period. And it looks like we'll go to a timeout here in North Richland Hills, Texas. So, 7:26 left in this contest. Mudbugs 2, Brahmas nothing. Shots on goal, 14-14. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs hockey here on NATV and the Mudbugs audio.
As a business owner, you know it's important to stay ahead of your competition to succeed. One dishonest employee providing poor customer service can send your business to the penalty box. DeFata and Associates has over 20 years of investigative experience that can help you monitor your employees and investigate losses that may be keeping you from reaching your goals. Whether you need GPS tracking, investigative shopping, integrity testing, or you're experiencing losses caused by theft, DeFata and Associates can help. Give them a call at 318-635-9944 or check out their website at defatapi.com for more information.
Hey, this is Chet Yoder, voice of the Mudbugs. DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional private investigations for over 20 years to both individuals and businesses. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or you suspect an internal theft problem with your business, DeFata and Associates has the experience, training, and knowledge to get you the information you need. Call Jerry today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case or visit them online at defatapi.com.
Welcome back to the North Richland Hills, Texas, the NITEC Sports Center. Mudbugs 2, Brahmas nothing. Face-off will come out to the left of Tyler Hodges. He's like Vinny Giulio taking that face-off, and he wins it. And Bugs able to win that face-off and just bounce off the glass here, and Coots will come back out. Actually, he gets it back. And it'll be down there for the Brahmas, and they'll get it on in. Chapano getting on Remy Pusateri. Coots now takes it back, and he does actually, for the moment, had his pocket pick, but still stayed in the zone of the Mudbugs. Now, Brahmas come back out with it, and it will be an icing. It from my vantage point, might have hit somebody, but hey, I'll take the icing. 6:55 left in this contest. Mudbugs 2, Brahmas nothing. 14-14 in terms of shots. Excellent work from both goaltenders in this period. Tyler Hodges, of course, as well as Nicholas Rempel. Faceoff will come out to the right of the aforementioned Rempel. Liam Wolf-Talby will win the faceoff for the Mudbugs. Burnt now, going to try to keep it in. And now, Chase Sakrisky shot, and he just goes on to the padding. Puck still loose. Brahmas will take it back now. That's number 27. Gustav Lexel, he's going to take it. He's going to get some contact from Gordon Guerrero. Gordo, as he's called. Now Chase Sakrisky will take it after a little bit of contact, but nonetheless, Sakrisky now back with it after a pass from Liam Wolf-Talby, and he gets his pocket picked by the Brahmas. Big hit from the aforementioned Liam Wolf-Talby. And it looks like that is Eric Alexander. And big fight here between Gustav Lexel and I don't blame Wolf-Talby for wanting to leave. He doesn't want another fight, as he had one last night, and he's trying to avoid it. Not because he's scared, but he's trying to avoid the penalty, and that's very smart if you're Liam Wolf-Talby, and he does just that. Maddox Talacro will get sent off, and he's like, oh, why didn't you fight? Well, here's the thing, Mr. Talacro. Very smart on the part of Liam Wolf-Talby to avoid the penalty, and I can't say I blame him. Might have been a bit one-sided in there, but it's smart on the part of Liam Wolf-Talby to avoid the penalty, because that's one of the things Jason Toopy Campbell talked about in not only my conversation with him earlier on the Landers Dodge Chrysler Jeep Raymond Fiat pregame show, but also he talked to me throughout the week, staying out of the box. Brett Smith also talked to me about it as well. I sound intense right now, and I am. I truly am, because that's very smart on the part of Liam Wolf-Talby. The man, the myth, the legend, Liam Wolf-Talby from Charlotte, North Carolina. Of course, though, if you're a Brahmas fan, you see him as a bit of a coward, but I digress, folks. Jasser now, and looks like it'll be number 8 for Lone Star, trying to plead their case. That's Ryan Coots, another North Carolina native. They're trying to argue their case here. Of course, the Eric Alexander, who took that hit from Liam Wolf-Talby, he was escorted back to the locker room to get some medical attention from the Brahmas medical staff. And now 5 minutes will go on the board for number 72, Maddox Talacro. Like I mentioned, smart on the part of Liam Wolf-Talby to avoid the penalty. And now, if you're the Mudbugs, you are on the Scott Powerline power play for the next 5 minutes. So like I mentioned, very smart on the part of not only the Mudbugs, but also Liam Wolf-Talby. I'm sure someone's telling me to shut up somewhere, and, well, I will, but I still hold the sentiment. Nonetheless, 6:25 left in this contest. Mudbugs hockey tonight in the second period, as always, is brought to you by our friends at DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services. Personal matters, child custody cases, and internal theft problems within your business, just call our main man, Jerry DeFata, at 318-635-9944 to discuss your case, or log on to DeFata.PI. Big thank you to DeFata.PI. All right, some interesting stuff going on. But what truly matters, 5 minutes on the board for number 72, Maddox Talacro. Mudbugs will be on the Scott Powerline power play. Not been able to capitalize on it far, have these Mudbugs, but 5 minutes, good chance to do just that. And of course, serving that penalty as Talacro was shown the gate. Actually, Talacro's down in between. All right, Mudbugs win the face-off. Now Adams will keep it himself. Adams will find Willie Tremblay on the right-hand side, and he gets battled on by Denver Dampoose. Coots now going to try to hold it himself. Oh, Mudbugs got it and then lost possession. But it's quickly gained by Grayson Gerhardt. Now, Semengo will take it through the neutral zone. And then goes over to the right-hand corner. Get in, and here comes Jonah Jasser. Jasser will just miss it. It'll go back down the length of the ice. Tyler Hodges will collect it and leave it off for it. Now, here comes Adams. He'll give it off to Joe Semengo. Semengo starts, and gives it off to Evan Adams on at least what is their penalty kill. But, of course, it's the Scott Powerline power play. It's turned over. Scanlon now going to try to hold it and get that shorthand, but nothing doing it. He'll just dump it into the right-hand corner now. Evan Adams will take it behind his own net now, and he'll take it up ice. Evan Adams over to Joe Semengo. Gives it off to Grayson Gerhardt. Gerhardt finds Willie Tremblay. Tremblay for Gerhardt. Gerhardt for Evan Adams at the top. Adams over to Gerhardt. Now back to Adams. Adams will find Jasser, and it gets deflected on the way through. Oh, not able to come down with it was Grayson Gerhardt. Mudbugs still with it. Jasser, he'll circle back around. Circle around one more time, and he will find Evan Adams. Mudbugs get a quick line change. 3:28 left in the 5-minute penalty, 5-minute major. Assessed to Van Martin. Earhart will be behind the net now. He'll quarterback the play. Mudbugs get a quick and patient line change. And now here comes Jake Stock. Stock, not the favorite of these Lone Star fans off to my left. And now Earhart, and he gets intercepted by Vinchikwe, but he's able to come back up with it in a smart defensive play. Now Jeremiah Roberts over to Liam Wolf-Talby. Wolf-Talby now. He was able to get it on in. Wolf-Talby for Johnny Burnt. Burnt will come up and collect with it. Burnt had his goal tonight. Burnt now going to hold it up front, and he'll give it off to Duke Earhart. Earhart for Wolf-Talby. Lost possession momentarily. Jake Stock now with it. Stock holding. Bounces off the cage of Rempel. Wolf-Talby now with it. Earhart back for Burnt. Burnt jumper. He scores! Johnny Burnt. Power play goal. Bugs 3. Brahmas nothing. Some exciting stuff here. If you're in association with the Shreveport Mudbugs, Johnny Burnt slaps it on home. And, that was a bit of a slapper, if you will, in the words of Dusty Rhodes. But Bugs 3, Brahmas nothing off the power play slap shot goal from Johnny Burnt. Excellent stuff there. He's burning up in this hockey game. All right, I'll stop with the puns. Moving on now. Face-off. Brahmas able to win the face-off, and they get it down to the Mudbug zone. Tyler Hodges will leave it off for Evan Adams, or at least attempt to, and he does. But now Brahmas swarming quickly. Get some contact on there from number 77 of the Brahmas. And now out come the Mudbugs with it. Jonah Jasper. Gerhard with it. Gerhard got his pass deflected on by Martikainen of the Brahmas. Gerhard still with it. Semengo. Puck still loose in front, but it's taken away by Vates. And Vates will backhand it down the ice. Hodges, 3:16 left in this contest. 3-0 Mudbugs off the power play slap shot goal from Johnny Burt. And out comes Evan Adams now. Adams over to Jasser. Jasser tried to find Adams, and it will roll on to the net of Nicholas Rempel. 3:04 left in his contest. 140 left in the 5-minute major. Assistant number 44, Van Martin, will get the recap of how everything went on down in that little session. Coming up next in the Sonic Drive-In second intermission show. Of course, powered by our friends at Sonic Drive-In. This is Henley Sonic. I'll be talking to Ty Easton, the proclaimed King of the South by one, at least reputable league news organization. Face-off now out to the right of Rempel, and it'll be taken away by the Brahmas. Tried to come up with it now. Pryor, that's Camden Pryor. Pryor gets battled on by Burnt. Burnt, the latest goal scorer. Burnt now going to give it off to Wolf Tolby. Now Wolf Tolby going to give it off to Duke Earhart. Earhart will find Burnt. Bounced off the boards, but it'll find Burnt nonetheless. Burnt, and he gets his pass deflected by a Brahma. I believe that was number 24, Denver Dampucci it was. And now Jeremiah Roberts, he'll get it all into the Brahma zone. Wolf Tolby, that puck will just go out. And Camden Pryor, he'll dump it back down. Minute left in the penalty to Van Martin. 2:23 left in this second period. We thank you for tuning in to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Earhart now will find it for Semango, but nothing doing as Semango almost turned it over. He did, and then turned it back over. Weird sequence of events. I digress. Now, Brahmas take it back. That's Nate Hart. Almost said Shane Hart, former Mudbug. Puck will go back down the length of the ice. Jake Stock will take it now. Stock make a move past Capello. Stock, Semango calling for it. Now Gerhard will keep it. Give it off to Evan Adams. Adams got a shot deflected on. And now we'll go back down the length of the ice. 20 seconds left in the Van Martin penalty and the Scott Powerline power play for the Mudbugs. But it's been successful. Off the goal from Johnny Burnt. Off from Johnny Burnt. Now Mudbugs going to keep it. 10 seconds left in that penalty. Jonah Jasser now will take it up the left. And he'll leave it off for Tremblay. And it just got deflected off of Grayson Gerhard. But nothing doing. And it'll be cleared down the length of the ice. And Martin will be out of the box. Mudbugs still successful on it, though. As, like I mentioned, the goal coming from Johnny Burnt. And now Adams, he got his pocket picked by Van Wee. Van Wee found somebody in front. Shot. They score. That'll be Jackson Bates. The aforementioned Jackson Bates, who I thought was not going to be on the ice. But, well, he is. And he gets the goal to cut the deficit down to 2. 1:11 left in this contest. Mudbugs 3, Brahmas 1. Off the goal from Jackson Bates. Bit of a 3-on-0 for Tyler Hodges, and he gave it his all to try to keep that puck from going in the back of the net, and unfortunately, it was nothing doing there as Jackson Bates was able to get the shot off. We'll find out the assists here momentarily. Now the Brahmas being picked up off the ice. As with most teams in this division, they do throw creatures onto the ice. Of course, Mudbugs, we throw Mudbugs onto the ice. You get them at Swamp Check for $1. Best deal going, but of course, that is back at Georgia Sponenhurst Coliseum. Speaking of which, our next home games will be against these Lone Star Brahmas. And speaking of which, we're going to give the gift of Mudbugs for these next 4 home games, December 19th, 20th, as well as one from the relative night on the 26th of December, day after Christmas, and the 27th. Let me relay it down to you. So for $55, that's $55, 5 tickets. That could be for your family, friends, whatever. And you will all get pregame. If you need any more tickets, just call us, 318-636-7094. Only $5 per ticket. Jackson Bates, like I mentioned, getting the goal. Van Martin getting an assist. And Aaron Martikainen, I believe, got the assist on that. Now some contact in front. Nothing doing as the 1 minute left remaining in this second period. Bugs 3, Brahmas 1. Shots on goal, 16-15 left, and shot got sticked away by Hodges. Now, Mudbug's going to try to find, and he does. That's Vinny DiUlio. Tremblay on the left Tremblay for Griner, and that gets blocked away by Rempel. Didn't get the EL out. And now 20 seconds left. DiUlio will find Griner. Griner on his way in and just got some poke checked away. Now Pusateri will keep it on in. Puck bounced on to the glove of Nicholas Rempel, and about 5 seconds left in the second period. Lexel will leave it off for Capano. Capano on the right-hand side. Shot, nothing doing there as the period comes to a close. Woo! Lot of fun action tonight, and it's only the second period. And it looked like the refs were signaling back to their benches, at least for the moment. But a few Mudbugs coming off. Well, all right. Well, Mudbugs will be coming off. It is now second intermission, and of course it's powered by our friends at Sonic Drive-In. Sonic Drive-In, this is how we Sonic. Route 44 Powerade myself for the moment. Of course, let's tell you how in the period. And then Martin fighting aggressor penalties assessed to both men, as well as one for Jackson Vates. Now, Van Martin served the penalty, and then Sporting World after my conversation with Ty Easton here on the Sonic Drive-In second iteration show. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network. Mudbugs 3, Brahmas 1.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
As a business owner, you know it's important to stay ahead of your competition to succeed. Customer service can send your business.
Two boys back from at home. Hopefully they're listening tonight. And Ty, it's good to talk to you. Hopefully they're listening tonight. And Ty, it's good to talk to you once again. And of course, we'll be back with more after these messages in the Sonic Drive-In second intermission show. Ty, thank you once again for joining us. And you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey broadcast here on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Hey, this is Chet Yoder, voice of the Mudbugs. DeFada and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional private investigations for over 20 years. They offer a full range of services to both individuals and businesses. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or you suspect an internal theft problem with your business, DeFada and Associates has the experience, training, and knowledge.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. So shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Welcome back inside the nice smoothly as I can, but I digress. Been a really good hockey game so far in terms of the Mudbugs. Obviously, they lead 3-1. Of course, their second goal coming from Johnny Byrne, his second of the night actually. So keep your hats safe. But of course, the less said about that, the better. Okay, we're back up. Now let's look at the rest of these scores of games that are going final. The Maryland Black Bears defeated the Danbury Hat-Tricks 8-4. Like I mentioned, the Rochester Junior Americans defeated the Elmira Aviators 4-3. Springfield Junior Blues defeated the Janesville Jets 4-3. Austin, the Bruins, they defeated St. Cloud, the Norsemen 5-1. The Philadelphia Rebels defeated the New Hampshire Mountain Kings 4-2. The Corpus Christi Ice Rays now we're into the South Division, currently leading the New Mexico Ice Wolves 3-2. That game in the third period. Watertown, they carry the shoe going down 17-13, and honestly, I can't speak for every LSU fan, but I can speak for at least myself. I'm just looking forward to whatever happens in the next few days in terms of how it's going to all play out with this coaching. Brouhaha, let's put it like that. But anyways, moving along. Tulane New Orleans team there. 24-0 over Charlotte. Alabama in the Iron Bowl. Alabama and Auburn 20-13 in favor of the Crimson Tide. USC has come back 21-10 to the Cougars. They defeated UCF 41-21. Miami took down the Panthers of Pitt 38-7. Ohio State in the game 27-9 over the Wolverines from Michigan. They will play Indiana, who won back on Friday night in the Big Ten Championship. Of course, in terms of the SEC Championship, it's still to be determined. Georgia will be there, but they will have to find out who they play later on. And actually, it will come down to whatever the live action final. Texas Tech, the Red Raiders defeated Hunter Robinson's West. All right. Well, we're going to keep on looking at some scores here. NHL action, of course, the Toronto Maple Leafs last period had a big lead over the Penguins, and of course that game went final 7-2. Blues 1-0 lead over the Mammoth. Sabres, San Jose has a 1-0 lead over the Vegas Golden Knights. Canucks and Kings just getting underway there. Game's going final as well. Bruins 3, Red Wings 2, Flyers 5, Predators 2, Oilers 4, Kraken nothing, Avalanche 7, Canadiens 2, and the Lightning 4, Rangers 1. Now, while we got a second, let's look at some college basketball action. Good college basketball score, worthy of the Tigers' athletic prowess, rather. If it wants to load here, seems like internet's been the fun theme of the night. There it is. LSU 96, DePaul 63. Indiana, the Hoosiers defeated Bethune-Cookman 100-56. Some games still going on. Oregon State 17, CBU 12. Sacramento leads Pacific 14-16. Of course, a lot of games going final earlier in the day. Penn State 90-59 over SHU. Now the referees coming out onto the ice for those who are not interested in random college basketball scores. That's okay. Fans, of course, here, Lone Star fans rather, not happy with the refereeing decisions of course, Bork. And you know what? I feel like referees don't get enough love. I truly do. It's one of the hardest jobs to be a referee, especially, I would argue, in the South, because man, there has been a lot of times where Southern sports fans have just dogged onto the refs. And let's talk about them real quick. Mark Bork, head referee. Of course, linesman is Joey Zambatino. And one of the linesmen is Malachi Laterno here tonight. Of course, thank you to them. And, of course, all of our NAHL officiating crew. But, of course, somebody will assume I'm just saying thank you because, oh, we've got less penalties. Well, that's not the case at all, really. Both are not. But just wanted to give some love to the referees tonight. Of course, Mudbugs were underneath me for at least a brief second. At least Remy Pusateri was. Been a fun one. Just making sure everything is still connected here in terms of audio. Some clipping in and out has gone through, but now the Brahmas are going to come back out onto the ice there. I forgot to mention earlier, they were in their Air Force jerseys. And now Mudbugs come out to the ice. They're wearing their black and red Mudbug jerseys, all black jerseys, with stripings down the left and right arms, as well as the stripings in the back. Nameplates are black, name bars in white, some of which have been sewn on by one Casey Brocato. Big thank you to her from the Mudbugs equipment staff. And, of course, the numbers are white numbers with a black full set on and then a red inner outline, if that makes sense. But nonetheless, third period action is to this third period, 18-15 in favor of the Mudbugs. Nicholas Rempel is still on net. I just had to make sure because last night I got a little sidetracked and missed the goaltending change. Nicholas Rempel came in for Brady Cray. And I missed that, and so did the Lone Star broadcaster, Chad Seward. Missed him. It messed him up too, but nonetheless, Tyler Hodges has been doing well tonight. Speaking of Tyler Hodges' performance, like I mentioned, he has been keeping up on his performance from last night, stopping 14 of 15. Rempel, no slouch either, 15 of 18, saved his way. Both teams now getting ready for the opening puck drop of this third period. Jasper will take the faceoff against number 55, Dylan McFadden. Sabatino ready to drop the puck. Puck is dropped. Third period underway. Brahmas able to come up with it, and it just get on to the back of the cage of Tyler Hodges. But Bugs are trying to come back out with it. Polonier will get a stick on it rather, and Coots will come down with it. Alexander, that was Eric Alexander. I almost called him Alexander Oliver. Big hit from, I believe that is Vinchinque. Yes, it is, onto number 12, Duke Gerhard. Big hit from Jonah Jasser. Hunted onto McFadden. Shot coming from Vinchinque, just going wide. Pusateri now gets battled on by Vinchinque. Burnt now going to turn back around and try to get things moving on here. Puck glides through the net front of Tyler Hodges, but now Joe Semango will carry it out on the right-hand side, and it'll get dumped down onto the left-hand corner. From my vantage point, Chaser Christie getting battled on by two Brahmas there. They'll try to clear it out of their own zone, but they cannot. Chaser Christie now going to keep on with it. Brahmas trying to keep it out of their own zone. And now Nate Hart get battled on by Jake Stock. Jake Stock been no stranger to the penalty box tonight. Leo Isaacson, their leading point scorer, 29 points on the year so far. Isaacson now will give it over to Martikainen. Martikainen pass got lost in the feet of Owen Case. Now that's Johnny Burnt, 2 goals on the night so far. Wolf Chalby, it's Liam Wolf Chalby up to Chase Sakrisky. Sakrisky, Stock just avoids the offsides. Oliver, and that is Alexander Oliver, keeps it. Gets turned over now. Easton with a slapper. Number 32, Nicholas Rempel. Evades now over to Van Martin. Van Martin up through the front. Brahmas still with it. Shot. And it's loose. Brahmas now come up with it. Couldn't see what happened, but but the main thing, it was not in the back of the net of Tyler Hodges. Now Vates finds his man down. Now Coots will take it. He'll backhand it, pass down low. Martin now, Van Martin, and that's Denver Dampoose. Dampoose with a wrister. Now will just go off of Tyler Hodges somewhere. Couldn't quite tell if it was a glove or pad nonetheless. And now try to find somebody in front. Brahmas, and the puck. Looks like the whistle was blown beforehand, so did the net come off the mooring? No. The net did not come off its moorings, but rather a good save from Tyler Hodges. Keep this a 3-1 hockey game. Speaking of Tyler Hodges, I will talk to him next week. He will have a lot of interesting things to say about this weekend. I'm fairly certain of it. Come out to the left of Tyler Hodges. Vinny Giulia will take the face-off now. Brahmas, unfortunately, now able to get Capello rather now. Vinny Giulia over for Jared Griner. Griner shot, and he just goes off the pads of Rempel now. Tremblay trying to find it. Nothing doing. Brahmas now take it out. That's Capello. Gave it off to number 7, Scanlon, and Poloni now will take it and try to get it out, and he gets some contact there from a Brahma. And now shot gets blocked away there by Tyler Hodges. With shots on goal right now. 16:58 left in this contest. 21-19 in favor of the Brahmas. 3-1 hockey game but in favor of the Mudbugs. Puck will go down it looked okay. Sorry, I'll admit I get jumbled up a lot, and that's fairly evident if you've listened to this weekend in Odessa. But let's recap what just happened while I got jumbled up. It looked like the puck went down for icing, and it did. But I thought I heard some refs. Thought I heard a linesman waving it off. But nonetheless, icing is the call. Brought to you by our friends at Louder's Baking Company. Faceoff will go out to the right of Nicholas Rempel. Of course, Letourneau now. Malachi Letourneau now called a false start, but Jansen will not get kicked out. Brahmas do win the faceoff, and it'll bounce off the boards and go down for another icing. Brought to you by our friends at Louder's Baking Company. Tonight's third period is brought to you by our friends at Delta Utilities. Of course, know what's below. Call 811 to locate any Barry Utilities at least 2 days before digging for any project. Once again, call 811 to locate any Barry Utilities at least 2 days before digging before any project. That's Delta Utilities. Big thank you to them for sponsoring tonight's Shreveport Mudbugs hockey broadcast, as well as being a proud corporate partner of the Shreveport Mudbugs. 16:45, faceoff will now be out to the right of Nicholas Rempel. Bugs able to come up with that faceoff. Evan Adams now, puck will go around the back of the net of Rempel. Excuse me, now then Chinkway now. And now Sable beat out the ice. Not another icing, and he gets battled on with Evan Adams. Then Chinkway gets his body into Evan Adams, but Brahmas still trying to find the puck as well as the Mudbugs. And Nate Hart, shot. Oh, backhand. No. Okay, this is interesting. Brahmas now being thrown onto the ice. Scrum in front of the net. No goal is the call. And for anyone asking me why I've been yelling, it is loud in here, and I will gladly take the brunt of that. All right, now that things have calmed down, let's just recap what happened. There was a shot that went off in front, and it hit the post. The goal light went on, but the call is no goal, and it looks like Brahmas assistant coach Logan Murphy is going to go to the iPad and try to see what happens. And now Sable for the Brahmas, that's Vladimir Sable, will go to the box, find out that call. Of course, now the Texas Brahmas youth will collect the Brahmas off the ice that the fans had thrown, thinking it was a goal. Two minutes has been added for number 15, Vladimir Sable. Let's find out what it is. Find out what it is here real quickly. Well, I guess can't find it out that quickly. But, all right, now that everything has fully calmed down in the situation, let's recap what just happened. Again, for those of you who are just joining us, hopefully. The goal line went on, then off, then back on, and then fans started throwing Brahmas, but the call is no goal on the ice. And now they'll go to a review. They'll go to a review. Bork, head review, just gave the VAR signal if you're a soccer fan. Our signal if you're a soccer fan. Of course, it's myself, but again, they will go to the video review down here to my right-hand side. Of course, it is a timeout for a visual review. We'll take a brief one, and we'll get back with you guys on the score or on the call, unless something happens here in the next few minutes. Nope, looks like they're going to keep looking at it. We'll be back, 3-1 Mudbugs. We'll be back here, Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. You're listening, Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on the NA TV and Mudbugs Audio Network.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. Sleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. For those that are seated, I say rise. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Welcome back to the NITEC Sports Center here in North Richland Hills, Texas. Bugs 3, Brahmas 1. The video review off a deflection, possibly a goal. They've been taking a while to look at it. If you can predict amount of time, if you're a gambling, all right, final call. No goal is the call from referee Mark Borg, from head referee Mark Borg. No goal is the call, and well, if you're the Lone Star crowd, you're not. No goal is the call, but in the meantime, 2 minutes on the board have been added to Vladimir Sable. Of course, we'll find out what that penalty call is here in a brief matter of minutes. But overall, no goal is the call, and it remains 3-1 Mudbugs with 16:15 left in this contest. Now it's in this contest. All right, well, either way, faceoff will come out to the right of Nicholas Rimple. And Mudbugs power play unit will come onto the ice. All right. Looks like roughing will be the call to Vladimir Sable. All right, well, Duke Earhart now will win the faceoff now. Johnny Burnt will take it. At least try to. And Brahma battling on. It'll just scatter, enter, scatter, exit, scatter the Mudbug zone. Jeremiah Roberts now with it in the Mudbug zone. Johnny Burnt, 2 goals on the night so far. I'm going to give it off to Jake Stock. Stock almost lost a hand on it, but able to get back into it. Stock now dumps it in. It'll be on the back of the net, and now that is Duke Gerhard with Liam Wolf-Tulby now. Oh, to Johnny Burnt, and Stock tried to deflect it. Nothing doing. Jeremiah Roberts now with it. Lost it, and now the Brahmas come back up with it. Now bounce it off the half wall, left half wall. Bugs will try to come back out, will take advantage, but nothing doing. Advantage of the line change. Now Jeremiah Roberts had possession and lost it. Bugs keep the possession out of the hands of the Brahmas, and good doing there. Now Duke Gerhard gets some contact on from a Brahma. I believe that was Martikainen. It was Capello, and now he finds Isaacson. Isaacson is in. Isaacson shot and hit sticked away by Tyler Hodges, as well as a defensive effort from Liam Wolf-Tulby and Johnny Burnt. Good stuff there. Now Jonah Jasser tried to enter the zone. Jeremiah Roberts tries to recover it for the Bugs. Nothing doing. Brahmas come back the other way. Leo Isaacson now going to keep up with it over to Capello, number 89. That is, like I mentioned, Capello, Anthony Capello. Now, cool things down here. Mudbugs will take it back. Mudbugs, of course, are on the Scott Powerline power play, able to get at least one power play goal. Tremblay, and it got dumped in after a shot on from, it looked like Grayson Gerhard, or shot, hard pass, I should add. Grayson Gerhard now, and that got deflected on the way through. Go down the length of the ice to Tyler Hodges. And now it'll be Evan Adams taking it up front. Adams will give it off to Grayson Gerhard. 5 seconds left on that penalty to Vladimir Sable, and unfortunately, Mudbugs are not successful on the Scott Powerline power play, but still. And now some angle with it. Oh, offsides is the call. Sable's out of the box, and as he was coming out of the box, the offsides was the call. Face-off will come out to right in front of the Lone Star bench, and Dan Wildfong is shouting at his players. Vinny Dulio will take the face-off, as well as Vinchinque, and Brahmas do win that face-off. Brahmas will bounce it off this wall here. Griner now going to try to get it out of his own zone, and he does, Jared Griner, and he finds Vinny Diulio. Diulio up to try to find Stock. Nothing doing there. It just went wide. Brahma's now going to come back out with it. Vinchinque now up here on the left. Offsides is the call. Vinchinque. And Vinchinque was right behind as Van Martin entered the zone. Van Martin got into the zone first before Vinchinque, who had the puck, came in. That's your offsides explanation. 13:48 left in this contest. Mudbugs 3, Brahmas 1. Shots on goal, of course, overall totally are 22-20 in favor of the Lone Star Brahmas. Face-off will be right out in front of me, and the Mudbugs do win that face-off. Remy Pusateri now will find Grayson Gerhard. Gerhard just tips it up, and Capano will take it back for Lone Star. That's an interesting chant. Moving on, Lexel. And now Martikainen shot. Got blocked off there by Tyler Hodges. Now Grayson Gerhard trying to find somebody, trying to find a Mudbug. And pass gets intercepted by the Brahmas. They come back the other way. And now Lexel in with it. Lexel getting battled on there by Jeremiah Roberts. Lexel will just lazily throw it down to the corner. Dampus his shot up and wide. Looks like that is Oliver. That is Alexander Oliver. Pass it back out. And now Leo Isaacson. Isaacson over to Sable. Sable's shot goes wide and right. Oliver now. He left it off for Leo Isaacson. Isaacson's shot. Sable finds it. Good defensive play there by Liam Wolf-Tulby. And Hodges lost the stick. Whistle stop. Whistle stops play here. Mark Bork. All right. Well, play was stopped. Oh, the net came off its moorings. Okay, that's what it was. I got to admit, the purple nets here in Lone Star. Sorry, folks. Sometimes the fan aspect of things kind of gets me off my game, and I will admit that. I will gladly admit that. Brahmas did win that face-off. Now Mudbugs do come away with it. Roberts now going to throw it off to Duke Gerhard. He lost it, but he's trying to get in there while he's getting battled on by a Brahma. Capello now. Capello gave it away to his fellow team. Now Scanlon will chop it up into the air. And Sable bodies down Joe Samango. Samango running back up to his feet. Then Shinkway and goes past him. It's intended for him, but it went right past him now. Duke Earhart will backhand it in to the Brahmas zone. Jasper battling on there with Denver Dampoose. Now Brahmas come back out with it, out of their own zone right now. And then there's Van Chinkway getting battled on by a few Mudbug, including Owen Case. Now Van Chinkway now trying to find somebody. And he finds Coots, and now Coots over to Alexander. Alexander's is shot or pass deflect either way wide. Alexander now, that is Eric Alexander. He'll blam it on in around the Mudbugs zone. Now Vinny DiUlio will take it, and he'll throw it up into the air, and it'll go down the length of the ice for an icing. 11:23 left in this contest. Mudbugs 3, Brahmas 1. Of course, this third period is brought to you by our friends at Delta Utilities. Call 811 to know what's below and locate buried utilities at least 2 days before digging before any project. Once again, that's Delta Utilities. Faceoff now will come out to the left of Tyler Hodges. That'll be Pryor taking the faceoff against Vinny DiUlio. Mudbugs, and they do not win that faceoff. Brahmas win the faceoff. It'll be up to the top of the blue line. Now, Vates now. He had a shot, and it's turned over. Van Martin now got a stick on it. Brahmas turned it right back over, and it'll go down to the Brahmas zone. Johnny Burnt was able to make somewhat of a defensive play there. Nothing doing, though. Vates now gets battled on there by Vinny DiUlio. Vates now will take it back out and around DiUlio, and it gets deflected. Watch out. Billy T. Welker as well as Jason Subi Campbell, but it's not like those two guys haven't been hit by pucks before. Puck will go out of play and get thrown right back out onto the ice. Couldn't tell by who, but it got thrown back out onto the ice. Face-off will come out to the center circle. Vinny DiUlio will take the face-off against number 18, Vincenzo Capano. Mudbugs do win that face-off. Evan Adams will get it on into the zone of the Brahmas. Martikainen now will take it around, or excuse me, will pass it around. Gordon Guerrero now gives it off to Jared Greiner, who will get it on into the Brahmas zone. Martikainen, he backhands it, finding Lexel, and he does. Now Brahmas come out the other way. That's Vincenzo Capano. He gets some intense contact by Evan Adams. Good stuff from Adams there. And then Mudbugs turn it over. Martikainen able to slap it all in there. But Liam Wolf-Talby takes it away. Willie Tremblay now on the right side. Willie Tremblay now gets up through the front. Willie Tremblay will try to be out that foot race. He does. And now, unfortunately, the Brahmas take it back. Wolf-Talby with a hit all into Vincenzo Capano. Brahmas will take it back. And out they come. I believe that is Isaacson. Yes, it is. Isaacson gets brought down. Nothing doing there. The shot from Capano got on. I believe that was number 7, Tyson Scanlon tried to grab the rebound. Nothing doing. Hodges covered it up. Lone Star fans wanting a call, but nothing doing there. 9:50 left in this contest. Of course, we'll go to a timeout here in North Richland Hills. We'll be back after these messages and more. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs hockey here on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network. We'll be back in a moment.
You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network. Tonight's game action will resume in the next few minutes.
Welcome back into North Richland Hills, Texas. Had to stop that shortly there. Quick timeout. Mudbugs 3, Brahmas 1. Face-off will come out to the right-hand side of Tyler Hodges. Capella will take the face-off. Bugs do win that face-off. It gets past Dampoose
And it'll go just short of the net of Nicholas Rimple. 9:41 in this contest left. Now Brahmas will be up the right side. Sable now gets battled on there from a few Mudbugs. And now Brahmas still with it in the Mudbug zone. Will come up to Denver Tampoose. Tampoose try to find something and misdirection now. And now Capello accidentally gets some contact into Vinny Diulio. I don't think he meant to do that. Nonetheless, the aforementioned Vinny Diulio comes up with it. He gives it to Jared Griner. That shot just goes wide of Rempel. Of course, now Brahmas come back out with it. Scanlon now will grab it, or at least try to, and he'll land on the stick of Capello. Capello getting battled on there by the aforementioned Vinny Diulio. Vinny Diulio making a impact in this game shot from Owen Case, and everybody thought it was going to go up into the netting, but nothing there. Lands at the feet of Johnny Burnt. Brahmas were trying to get out of rush, but it landed at the feet of Burnt. Now Van Wee comes up with it. Van Wee shot, and it's into the equipment of Tyler Hodges. Good stuff there. Hey, 39 left in these contests. Mudbugs 3, Brahmas 1. Of course, I'd like to thank you, each and every one of you who have stuck around or still tuning in to tonight's Shreveport Mudbugs hockey broadcast on NATV and, of course, the Mudbugs Audio Network. From wherever you are, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And tonight's Shreveport Mudbugs hockey broadcast is brought to you by our friends at East Texas Baptist University, Coca-Cola, Morrison DeWitt. And speaking of which, Morrison DeWitt injury report, still nothing on the status of Carter McKay and as well as Ryan Barrett. But, well, nothing new, I should add. Brahmas were able to win that faceoff, and there was a shot that was blocked away by Tyler Hodges. And now up comes with it, comes Jared Griner. He's trying to gamble through Coots. He gets battled on, and Griner tries to get something, but Coots covered up the puck with his body. Or, excuse me, that was not Coots. That was Dylan McFadden. McFadden covered up the puck with his body. Smart defensive play there, but nonetheless. Now Brahmas is going to go behind their own net, and they did try to get this puck back into the Mudbug zone. They do, but it is brought up by Evan Adams, and it's given, rather. It was not brought up. It was given off to Remy Pusateri, who gives it right back to Evan Adams. Now Stock, it bounces off the stick of Stock. Oh, big muscle on there by Remy Pusateri. Pusateri, one of the bigger guys on this Mudbugs roster, throwing his muscle around. And now Pusateri battling on with Pryor there. Pryor and Pusateri. Now Gerhard joins in, as well as, I believe that's number 77, Jackson Bates. Yes, it is, but the puck gets rolled up on to Martin Kleiman in the top of the blue line. Nate Hart loses sight of it, but he gains it right back, gives it off to Martin Kleiman. Brahmas still with it now. Now back on the stick of Nate Hart. Wow. Okay. Bates now will turn it over, but only for a brief moment. Martin Kleiman now. They lost Martin Van Martin now. Tried to grab it, but before getting bodied on there by Evan Adams, and Mudbugs will be able to clear it out of the Brahmas zone. 7 minutes left in this hockey game. 3-1 Mudbugs, 26-20 are your shots on goal through 2.5 periods. Third period, of course, in this hockey game. Pusateri now bounce it off the wall. Tremblay is trying to battle on there against a Brahma. Nothing doing. Brahmas do take it, and that is Vincenzo Capano, who will have nothing doing there. Roberts will take it away. Jeremiah Roberts to Willie Tremblay. Tremblay, he tried to dump it in, but it got blocked on in front. And now Leo Isaacson. Isaacson getting battled on by Johnny Burnt. Good defensive play by the Mudbugs. And now Jeremiah Roberts on the right-hand side. Roberts trying to find somebody in front. Just goes off the side netting of the cage of Nicholas Rempel. Now Brahmas will try to take it back out, but not before Willie Tremblay does some battling of his own. Leo Isaacson throws it into the corner. Owen Case lost an edge there. Leo Isaacson now will keep it on. And it'll be Scanlon with a shot. And it just went high and wide. Now Mudbugs and Brahmas still battling for it. Now Scanlon does come up with it possession-wise. Isaacson now with it. Isaacson circling. Trying to find somebody in front. Willie Tremblay deflected the puck back into the glass. Now it's going to be Johnny Burnt on Coots. Now Sable will find Capello, and he'll slap it in. And Johnny Burnt, good defensive play there from Johnny Burnt. Keep Sable from clear possession of the puck, and it will get out of the Brahmas zone. Bugs trying to get a line change. Anthony Capello now will give it to Scanlon. Scanlon's shot just high. And Marchakainen tried to keep it in, but could not. Be an offsides on the Brahmas. 5:19 left in this contest. Mudbugs 3, Brahmas 1. Of course, 26-20 are your total shots on goal. Let's see what the shots on goal are for this third period. At least 11-2 in favor of the Brahmas. Interesting stuff there. Mudbugs with 35 penalty minutes and Brahmas with 25, at least what it's saying here anyways. That's what I've been giving. Only penalty tonight in the third period went to Vladimir Sable, a slashing minor. Now Brahmas will win that faceoff, and they'll get it on into the Mudbug zone. Evan Adams now will get the stick on it, and he'll give it off to Joe Semenga, Jonah Jasser will find it. Stock was battling on with Oliver. And now he'll get it on into the Mudbug zone. Adams battles alongside and on. Dylan McFadden, Semengo able to clear it. Stock trying to get possession. Nothing doing, but Vinny Dulio comes up with it for the Mudbugs. Gordon Guerrero with it, and he'll throw it onto the glass. Thankfully, the glass is a little bit taller. Or else that probably would have went out of play. Nonetheless, Brahmas McFadden gives it off to Van Martin. Van Martin will get battled on by Remy Pusateri, who will get it out of the Brahmas possession line. Gordon Guerrero now trying to find it. He does. He gives it off to Remy Pusateri. Pusateri found it and then tried to give it to Stock. Went off the left skate of almost said Vincent Dampoose, his father, Denver Dampoose. Wolf Talby taking it away. Now Van Martin tried to get a stick on it. Pusateri now will take it behind his net and wrapped it around his. Anyways. Excuse me. Willie Tremblay tried to get a stick on it. Lost possession though. And now Denver Dampoose. And he gets it poke checked away by Jared Griner. Good stuff there from Jared Griner. Now Brahmas unfortunately still with it. Brahmas still with it now. And we'll go into the right-hand corner of things here from my vantage point. Remy Pusateri will grab the puck. It looked like Nicholas Rempel was coming back down, and it will go down for icing. The puck went down the length of the ice for icing brought to you by our friends at Louders Baking Company. Thank you to Louders. But 3:46 left in this contest. Mudbugs 3, Brahmas 1. So it seems like the strategy is to pull Nicholas Rempel. He will, as the puck will go down into the Mudbug zone. So Nicholas Rempel has been pulled with 3:46 left in this contest. We'll find out. We'll find out if that leads to something big for the Mudbugs. Faceoff will come out to the right of Tyler Hodges. Looks like it'll be Jared Griner taking the faceoff. Bugs do win that faceoff. Burnt tried to slap it off the half wall. Brahmas still keep possession. Remy Pusateri got an empty net goal last night. Now Vinchinkwe. Been a fun night with his name. Now Lexel down behind the net. Lexel was trying for Isaacson, but not spun around by Burnt. And Capano with a shot. It got blocked away by Tyler Hodges. Brahmas still with it. Capano with it. Trying to find somebody. He does. He finds a Brahma. Now Leo Isaacson will take it off the almost wide pass, but found it nonetheless. Marchakainen over to Isaacson. Isaacson shot, blocked away by Tyler Hodges. Good stuff there. Isaacson now holding, and he gives it off to, that is Vincenzo Capano. Brahmas still with it, rather. And Isaacson now. Isaacson in, out. Trying to find somebody in front. Shot in front. Puck still loose. Puck still bouncing. And it gets bounced back out to the Brahmas defenseman. Excuse me, that's Coots out there. It is Coots. Brahmas still with it. 2:39 left in this contest. Somebody in front was trying to find the back of the net for the Brahmas. Nothing doing. Isaacson with a shot, and it's gloved up by Tyler Hodges. 2:32 left in this contest. Net is empty for Dan Wildfong in the Lone Star Brahmas. Nicholas Rempel has been pulled. He was pulled last whistle, rather. Faceoff will be off to the right-hand side of Tyler Hodges. Both teams now getting a change of personnel. Interesting stuff. All right. Well, like I mentioned, faceoff will be to the right-hand side of Tyler Hodges. And it'll be who else? Joe Semengo taking the faceoff, and we will take it for the Brahmas. Brahmas did win that faceoff. They tried to come up with the possession. They did and lost it for a brief second, but Brahmas now back with it. Now, Brahmas is Alexander Oliver. Now, Dampoose with it. Dampoose circles back around leaves it off for Oliver. Van Wee tried to slap it home, nothing doing. Dampoose now, he circles around Duke Gerhard. Travel back one more time. Back to Oliver. It got deflected on through by Joe Samango. Now battle on the half wall here. Alexander Oliver, Samango tried to get it out. Jasser as well. Brahmas, Mudbugs trying to battle one another for this puck. Hand pass is called. 1:53 left. As the hand pass is called, faceoff will come out right in front of me, and I do mean literally right in front of me, right outside the Mudbugs zone. Both teams will get a line change, and Nicholas Rempo will actually go back out at least somewhat halfway. Somebody down in front of me giving a business to Liam Wolf-Talby. It'll be a timeout called. Timeout called. Dan Wildfong wants to go over things. Jason Subi Campbell really wants to go over things. 1:53 left in this contest. Let's tell you how we got here. Of course, goals coming in the first, 2 goals coming in the first for the Mudbugs. Jeremiah Roberts and Johnny Burnt. That's his first goal of the night. That was his first goal of the night. Of course, that first goal coming from assisted-wise, Evan Hoagland and Grayson Gerhard. Burnt's goal next coming from Samango and Grayson Gerhard. And then the third goal of this contest for the Mudbugs, Johnny Burnt from Duke Gerhard and Liam Wolf-Talby, the man who somebody down front was giving a business to, but I digress. And then for the Brahmas, Jackson Vates scored the goal from Van Martin and Aaron Van Wee at 1:11 in the second period. Of course, Burnt's goal was at 3:49 in the second period. Burnt's second goal, I should add. Burnt's first goal back in the first, 13:02. Jeremiah Roberts' goal, 18:43 in the first. All right. In terms of scoring, that gets everything. Penalties, good. Then an interesting night for penalties, but it wouldn't be a Mudbugs-Brahmas rivalry without it. Interesting amount of penalty minutes for both sides. Timeout breaks here. Now, Rempel will go out, back out on the ice, at least halfway. And Tyler Hodges, Mudbugs are now back out. Mudbugs are now standing on their feet. Torno getting ready to drop the puck here. Vinny DiUlio will take that face-off. Brahmas win the face-off. Isaacson gives it off to Capano after a deflection from Vinny DiUlio. Lexel enters the zone. Lexel up to Isaacson. There went Nicholas Rempel. Now Isaacson top over to Lexel. Lexel, that shot got blocked on the way through, and Grinder's going to get a stick on it. Grinder's going to dump it down the length of the ice, but it will be called for icing on the Mudbugs. 1:31 left. Mudbugs 3, Brahmas 1. Of course, your total shots on goal through almost 3 full periods. There's still 1:31 left. 28-20 in favor of the Brahmas. And, of course, in terms of shots this period, 13-2 in favor of the Brahmas. Tyler Hodges standing on his head. And speaking of Tyler Hodges, faceoff goes out to his right. Brahmas win that faceoff. Pryor over to Isaacson now. Isaacson will find Dampoose, who will circle around Jared Griner off the backhand. Now Dampoose over to Isaacson. Isaacson down low. That looks off to down low here in the left. Isaacson now holding. Shot. He gets blocked by Vinny DiUlio, at least by the skate, I believe. It might have been the bottom of the shin guards. 1:08 left in this contest. Mudbugs 3, Brahmas 1. Brahmas still hold possession. Somebody tried to find it out in front for the Brahmas. Nothing doing after a deflection. Isaacson's shot went pinballing around, and now Dampoose's shot. Back of the net, they score. Brahmas score. 55.9. As looks like Van Wee will get the credit. Court that is number 38, Aaron Van Wee. He'll get the credit on the goal. This hockey game's not done, folks. Not by a long shot. 3-2, still in favor of the Mudbugs. All right. Well, Van Wee gets the goal. The assist will be from Denver Dampoose and Leo Isaacson at 55 seconds left in the third period. Of course, now Brahmas fans getting into it, but the Mudbug fans are getting into it too. So even all around, but I think Mudbug fans just a little more wanting this. But it wasn't obvious before. Okay. Well, Brahmas have been thrown on the ice. A lay one over here to my left getting thrown out onto the ice. Mudbugs go over to the netminder, Tyler Hodges, and give him some reassurance. And now the chant that has filled Southern arenas, goalie name, goalie name, goalie name, you, da-da-da-da-da. It's all your fault, but I think we do it better. Moving on, 55.9, Bugs 3, Brahmas 2. This game is not over by a long shot. Nicholas Rempel halfway out of his net. Jonah Jasser will take the face-off, and Brahmas do win that face-off. Isaacson, now 50 seconds left. Dampoose now will keep contact on it. Pryor now trying to keep, Brahmas do keep it in. Rempel now will get to the bench. Now down here in the left-hand corner, Mudbugs and Brahmas battling some more. Trying to find clear possession of the puck. Lexel will get on to it. 30 seconds left in this contest. Brahmas now take it back. Isaacson up to Dampoose. Dampoose shot gets blocked away by Tyler Hodges. And now loose in front. Brahmas trying to find something. Mudbugs come up with possession. Jasser will backhand it out of the zone. It looks like it will go down for icing. Yes, it will. 15.9 as we stop. Or as the stopped time, I should say. A Brahma was thrown onto the ice. That seems to be a theme. But, I mean, can't blame them. They're excited. I have no doubt in my mind there would be a crawfish thrown onto the ice if that was the Mudbugs case. Although, personally, I think we've gotten better about false starts with the throwing of the Mudbug. Now, faceoff will come up to the right of Tyler Hodges. Mudbugs do win that faceoff. Coming down to 10 seconds here. Battling in the corner is some Mudbugs and Brahmas. Owen Case involved in that. A 6, 5, 4. Brahmas still on at 3, 2, and 1. And that's the game. Fans, your final score, Mudbugs 3, Brahmas 2. An excellent weekend, all things considered, from the vantage point of course, Shreveport Mudbugs. And they will sweep this weekend series against the Lone Star Brahmas and Dan Wildfong. Of course, now Brahmas being thrown onto the ice. And I love Gordon Guerrero. He's trying to be nice, and so is Willie Tremblay. They're trying to clean him off the ice. Duke throws one back into the crowd. You gotta love this Mudbugs team. They're happy. They're excited. Mudbugs fans down below me, they're excited. Mudbugs fans in Section C are happy. Section B, down left, are happy. All around this building, if you see a Shreveport Mudbug jersey, and I see a Shreveport Mudbug jersey, they are happy. Final score tonight coming out of Lone Star. Mudbugs 3, Brahmas 2. An excellent weekend for the Shreveport Mudbugs, all things considered. Woo! All right, well, now it is the start of the Nikki's Mexican Restaurant post-game show. It'll be a brief one here as well. Hadu got to get down and help get the bus loaded to head back to Shreveport, Louisiana. Mudbugs will be bringing back a tasty dub, and there will be no Bug Boil here tonight in North Richland Hills, Texas. When we come back after a brief message, it will be the start of the Nikki's Mexican Restaurant post-game show. Final score coming out of Lone Star tonight, Mudbugs 3, Brahmas 2. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network. We'll be back in a moment.
As a business owner, you know it's important to stay ahead of your competition to succeed. One dishonest employee providing poor customer service can send your business to the penalty box. DeFata and Associates has over 20 years of investigative experience that can help you monitor your employees and investigate losses that may be keeping you from reaching your goals. Whether you need GPS tracking, investigative shopping, integrity testing, or you're experiencing losses caused by theft, DeFata and Associates can help. Give them a call at 318-635-9944 or check out their website at defatapi.com for more information.
Welcome back into North Richland Hills, Texas. Final score once again, Mudbugs 3, Brahmas 2. It's now time for the Nikki's Mexican Restaurant post-game show. Nikki's Mexican Restaurant, don't drink the water. Try our margaritas today. Once again, Mudbugs win by a final score of 3-2. Of course, let's tell you how we got there. course, first 2 goals of this Mudbugs campaign against the Brahmas tonight, coming from Jeremiah Roberts, assisted by Evan Hoagland and Grayson Gerhardt at 18:43 in the first period, as well as Johnny Burns' first goal of the night from Joe Samango and Grayson Gerhardt. That'd actually be his second assist of the night, so good stuff from Mr. Gerhardt of Allen, Texas. Moving along, Johnny Burns with his second goal of the night, coming from Duke Gerhardt and Liam Wolf Tulby. And then for the Brahmas, Jackson Vates made it 3-1 Brahmas at 1:11 in the second period. Van Martin and Aaron Van Wee on the assists, and actually just saw former Mudbugs goaltender Micah Adams in the building tonight. Doesn't live too far from the NITEC Sports Center. Of course, he sends his best wishes out and says hello to his former affiliate, Harriet Body. Miss Harriet Body. Micah Adams says hello. Nonetheless, and then, of course, in the third period, most interesting period of the game, Aaron Van Wee comes up with a goal with 55 seconds, made it a 3-2 hockey game. Of course, that goal coming from Denver Dampoose and Gustav Lexel, but that was all for scoring-wise, and that was it for the game, of course. Like I mentioned, Mudbugs win by a final score of 3-2. Penalty-wise, lots of them. Maddox Delacro and Cameron Pryor in the first for the Brahmas. And then for the Mudbugs, Grayson Gerhardt and Willie Alexis Tremblay in the first. And then in the second, this is where it got interesting penalty-wise. Jonah Jasser, Jacob Stock, Evan Hoagland. Jacob Stock, again, he was no stranger to the penalty box. That could probably be a song. No stranger to Dwayne, or to Duran. And then for the Brahmas, of course, Alexander Oliver, Denver Dampoose, Van Martin, and Jackson Vates in the second penalty-wise. And then third period, Vladimir Sable, the slashing minor. And that was all for the third period. Goaltending-wise, Tyler Hodges stopping 29 of 31 towards him. And, of course, for the Brahmas netminder, Nicholas Rempel saving 17 of 20, of course. But you have to think, great effort for both goalies all around this weekend from Brady Cray and Nicholas Rempel. Course, around this weekend, as well as the spectacular effort of one Tyler Hodges. An excellent effort all around. Whew, okay. Well, like I said, it's going to be a brief Nikki's Mexican Restaurant postgame show because I do have to get down and help load this Mudbugs hockey bus back to Shreveport, Louisiana. Dub back with him. If you know, you know. But nonetheless, Mudbugs win by a final score of 3-2. Of course, I'd like to thank everybody once again who hung on this weekend through the litany of issues, whether it's technical, internet, audio levels, whatever it may be. Thank you for tuning in to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey and on both NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network. Of course, big thank you to Chet Yoder for allowing me to do this. He actually just gave me a quick text congratulating me on the call as well as the sweep. So thank you to Chet Yoder. Of course, also a big thank you to Mudbugs General Manager Scott Musket and Mudbugs owner Tommy Scott for allowing me to do this as well. And I will say this, to anyone who gave me feedback on this weekend, whether it was audio levels, broadcasting, whatever it may be, I thank you too, because I'm not perfect. Nobody is. But your feedback definitely has tried to help me get better as a broadcaster because I do love broadcasting as a hobby. So I'm going to wrap things up here from the NITEC Sports Center here in North Richland Hills, Texas, just a far stone's throw away from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Mudbugs win once again by a final score of 3-2 over these Lone Star Brahmas, and they sweep the weekend. That'll do it here. I'm Duncan Welker. Thank you, everybody, once again involved. You've been listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network. We will see you next weekend as the Mudbugs take on Amarillo, the Wranglers, and Michael Hill next weekend.